The Bombers half a chance. They also gave up 25. As the Bombers gave up 26, they're on par. A huge focus on this centre square bounce in the first quarter. Big game on our hands.
So the obligatory argy-bargy in the middle of the ground. We spoke to John Worsfold there, and he said the focus and the question that he asked his players is, how are you going to channel your aggression, your frustration, your high motivation levels? You're going to channel it at the opposition, or you're going to put your head over and win the footy? And his first 5 minutes is going to be really instructional.
Yeah, I think that's about the first contest, Gaz. It's not what happens before the bounce, Dwayno. It's about who puts his head over the footy.
And Marshall back into the lineup for the Saints, into the ruck. Against Bill Chambers. Pearce ruck last week, Marshall's back in this week, and we're underway in front of 40,000 plus here. Stringer in the middle to try and give them some impetus early. Wrapped up, secondary ball up. Bill Chambers.
Holding the arm, Essendon.
Bill Chambers ball.
Dyson Heppel started on the wing with Jack Billings out this side.
And he blasts it straight down the spine, hoping for an early grab off hands. Battle did well, read it well. Webster, Savage, back pocket, couple of touches, Nunes.
It's interesting John Worsfold mentioned before the game about the dump kick in, and there's an example of what he was talking about. With the 6-6-6, there is a bit of density there. So we've seen already in the first two rounds, the teams that seem to lower their eyes are having a great deal of success moving the ball inside 50.
See if Zaharakis does it here. He blasts it. McKernan his target. And he gets a free, so it works. If he completes the deal and kicks the goal.
Well, one area, I guess, where they're going to be a little vulnerable is in the back half. We know the long-term injuries to Carlisle and Roberta, which Brown back into the side after missing that first week with a suspension, which was a hangover from last season. So just a slight incidental contact. But I guess you've got to call it as you see it.
And Nathan Brown back into the lineup as well for the Saints this week. Brown, Marshall and Akers all back in. McKernan sprays that. That was never a chance.
No, it's not a good shot for goal, because when you've had a bad game like last week, you love to get off to a really quick start. The point starts to worry you. Even at this early stage in the coach's box, you want to take advantage of the first entry inside 50.
Webster wide. Bruce crunched. The ball comes to the back. Hurley can't trap it and go. And we'll get a ball in. So a big let off for the Saints. They'll be breathing a sigh of relief with that miss as well. Early momentum could be huge. Saints with their confidence boosted after holding on last week. Steal one from the fire. Ross can't break free. Nunes flicks it back. Gresham inside. Sinclair. Long kick. Bruce might not get there. Hurley got there in front of him. Good grab from Hurley. Zaharakis. Kick smothered. Ricochet. And now it's open for the Saints. Bruce didn't have anything to go to. Goes back to Nunes. They wait for the cavalry. Ross short.
Great kick.
So Bruce hands it off. Steele with the long bomb. Membry's under it. Got a couple to beat. Flies, knocks it to ground. Francis did well. Beelined it. Gave it to McGrath. Chip kicked to McDonald, Tippin Woody. And now they're outside. Well, they weren't on the same page there. And McDonald, Tippin Woody gets a free.
Well, that's a slingshot. That's where they can be so effective off half-back. And they look dangerous again. Josh Bruce went to go quickly, and there's no one to go to because he's the man that you're supposed to go to.
Sard shook the hips, shook himself into trouble. Gresham feeds it back through legs. Cavalry arrives. Marshall tried to feed it out. Kent, it was good last week in his first game as a Saint. Webster. The old 1-2, gets it back again. Can he find a chest? Heads long. Loney's inside 50, doesn't get to him.
But listen again, if you want to encourage your team to go quick and play on and move the ball quickly, then you've got to have a target. So 3 times I've looked up and 3 times there hasn't been anyone to kick to.
Yeah, Loney not the man against Ambrose. Hurley, good grab on his chest again. Merritt, who was quiet last week. Heppel, who was quiet last week as well, the captain of the Bombers. In fact, the coach even said for Dyson Heppel that he wasn't at the level required for a captain in his first game for the season leading this team. So he gave him a whack on the way through. Bill Chambers and Marshall. Bill Chambers whips it out of the air. McKernan leads in the chase. Webster did well. He watched the Sheeran the whole way through after the bounce. Geary. Savage caught. Bagley. Back to Geary. Nunes. Good ball use to the Saints, although that kick might work. Loney nearly cut it off. Sard turns inside. Zaharakis missed him with the handball. It was almost a throw, really, because he missed his fist with it. Good attack. Could have gone a little bit harder, to be honest. Billings back towards attacking 50. Battle there. McKernan there. Looks up. Got Araccio. Punts it towards goal, and he misses to the near side. Fantasia.
So Patrick Ambrose had no interest in the footy, that's for sure. I think I'd prefer he made the ball the focus.
Webster. Again, having a lot to go to. Gresham looks up, and now he's got Membry long in a pretty good spot. Ugly kick, horrible kick. Might work. Kent nearly grabbed it. Off hands. Little poke pass was perfect from Sinclair, and now Membry gets his chance.
They got there eventually, but with Gresham running through the middle of the ground without pressure, you would want him to use, he's got exquisite skills by foot. You want him to be able to hit a target, and what he had to do was just launch a torpedo on the run.
Well, they were more accurate last week, the Saints, than they were their previous 2 seasons. Shot at goal accuracy last year, 43%. Year before, 45%. Last week they won with 65% accuracy. McKernan's missed down one end, and Membry has just scraped it in for a behind at this end.
A little bit nervous, both teams, Rizzy.
Yeah, a scrappy start, isn't it? You know, I think typified by the torp you mentioned going through the middle. Generally, that's a low drop punt to a forward. So
they saw Seedsman last night early. Really good atmosphere, though. Bill Chambers, Marshall. Marshall holds his ground. Bill Chambers from behind. Hard tackle laid by Bagley. Slung in the end by McKenzie. Tried to rip him off his back. Hold a minute. Umpire Brett Roseberry in his 400th game as an umpire. Part of the trio. Marshall kick smothered. Finally, Steele got it out. Jack Stephen hammers it inside 50. Gets it inside, but only by a couple. That's a throw from Hurley. Play on, said the umpire. And Kent puts it out on the full.
Josh Bruce is asking a question too, demonstrably. Have a look at it again. I think what he would say would be no prior opportunity. We saw one of those last night too. It was a touch dubious.
So Merritt back pocket. Only 16 possessions last week against the Giants. Averaged 27 a game last year.
But this was cricket, Dwayne. They are just blocking both teams at the moment. They don't want to play a shot. They don't want to get out. They're just playing very conservatively.
Back into the lineup is Darcy Parish. 5 goals in the VFL last week. It was strange to see him starting the season in the VFL. Back in after 1. Oh, hard front contact to Francis. No free. It was good last week. Parker got it up just in time. Brown back in that Parker direction. He stays down. Big fly's got it. It's a good pluck from Bruce. And they run for him. And he pumps it. He's got the numbers. Sard goes up. Knocks it to the ground. Nunes still a chance. Gathers the crumb. And he misses.
Good mark. There's a Francis. It's a front on contact, generally a free kick. But great mark from Bruce, wasn't he? Once again, we talked to Richo before the game about how important he is to the team. Bruce Hurley, that's going to be a really good matchup.
And this crowd's still building at the moment. McKernan goes hard. Knocked down to Myers. Tried to shrug the tackle. Just got it off in time to Shiel. And to go back to go forward. Not a lot forward. Brown. McGrath. Hurley. McKenna. Spears it to Zaharakis. Nice delivery. He can turn and go. He's got Bill Chambers inside 50, lurking. Gave it to Merritt instead. Big Bill Chambers lurking still. Got up. High contact, so Marshall free. Held his ground.
Well, the Saints have recognised that Zach Merritt is their target once again. They're not going to let him off the hook after last week. Jack Steele, the most accountable midfielder for the Saints, is going to run with him for the entire game.
Out wide the news again. Jack Stevens out there. Ambrose got there ahead of them, took it out.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it, if you had a bad game and you line up the centre bounce and you've got a run with player, Jack Steele. He's developing into a very good player.
Bill Chambers from behind. McGrath did well, sidestepped a couple, had a bounce, ran himself into trouble, kick a little wobbly, travels to the back, Brown, Geary. Heads toward the wing. Well, Kent left his man, nearly got it anyway. McKenna, McDonald, Tipperwoody, turns it over again, although Brown can't mark it. Yes, he did mark it. 3 grabs. Worked to his favour as well. Ross, sweeping handball, releases Nunes. And he's got Dunstan, and he's got space, and he's got Bruce, or he's got Loney.
Well, again, you want to go quick, Dwayne, but the players weren't in position to come at the footy to make it an easy kick.
Savage. He has to Jack Stephen in the square. He's got 3 to beat, and Hurley, easy grab, really. Oh, holding. That's against Jack Stephen.
I just question the starting positions of both teams forwards here. No one prepared to start deep and then present and make it easy for the fellow with the footy to kick the ball. You got every player on the ground is in a half of the ground at the moment.
Stay with him. Play on.
Myers, gee, that's dangerous. It's more than dangerous. It's cut off by Steele.
St Kilda are doing okay at defending the width of the ground, and I think that's another example of when you're out of form like Essendon were last week, even when you are a little bit aggressive with your kicking, sometimes you can make really poor decisions, and that's what's happened there with, and Myers generally good decision making kick, but good defence by Steele.
John Worsfold told us pre-game he felt his guys were on in the rooms. He was expecting a good start from them, a confident start. Steele kicks a goal and he blows his lines. What a let-off that is.
Yeah, I think neither team has had a cracking start, have they, really? Or even around the footy, I think what John said was hoping to happen really hasn't transpired yet.
McKenna. Stopped, propped, kicked. Zaharakis. Bomber fans hoping for something to roar about shortly. Langford back inside. He spears it and misses his target. Gresham put his head down and wins himself a free.
But again, on that play, and I don't know how, but I'm watching every single Essendon forward was running back to goal. There wasn't one Essendon forward presenting back up.
Play on. Drifting off. Play on.
Savage told to go.
Good.
Langford elected not to come at him. Ball to the outer side. Off hands. No free for pushing the back. We'll get a ball up. 13 goalless minutes to start this contest. Gresham, free kick. Saints ball.
Holding St Kilda. Who's kicked? Luke Dunstan.
And it's now that Bruce goes back to the goal square, whereas when that play was on, he was up just outside 50. So I'm not surprised there's been no goals kicked in 13 minutes, Dwayne.
Dunstan about to send it in. Kicks a central. Bruce up early, got a piece of it. Saad, nice crumb. Blasted away, should be coming back. Gresham, a double grabber. Heads to Wilkie, who was, well, he thought about going to Wilkie, he was out wide. He pulled his kick late in the end. Long kick again, and they didn't go to the spare man, Wilkie, they kicked it to Hurley.
Yeah, well done by Hurley. He really charged at that footy off Bruce. Bruce just stayed in the goal stair station, so it's really good by Hurley to go and help his teammate.
Pops it up. And Brown got there. Can't mark. The two Browns colliding. Dyson Heppel over the top, holds it in.
Rizzy, you're spot on. Look at Bruce there. So Hurley identifies that Bruce is not a factor at all. So then you can leave with impunity. You can just go.
Two up and tie up. McKernan dragged down again, and we'll get yet another ball up.
Well, the feeling of uncertainty at ground level, almost like two boxers just touching gloves at the start of a fight. No one prepared to throw any punches, playing very conservative behind the football, both teams, trying to minimise the damage early.
McKernan got rid of Rowan Marshall. Here is Wilkie, who was good last week off the rookie list. Mature age recruit from the premiers in the Sandford and North Adelaide. And here is another really good mature age recruit, Matthew Parker, who was spectacular last week. Got inside 50. Couldn't find Kent. Found Bruce. Kicks around the body. And we got one. Bruce has nailed it.
Yeah, really good finish there. And that's your point before, Gaz. Keep your defender active. Keep your defender knowing that you're going to do something about it, and then you get a chance to score.
Great stretch by that young man, Parker. Looked like the ball was going to go over his head, but at least Bruce there is within vicinity of the goal square, and you can then come back at the footy. You've got somewhere to go. If you're, and that's a beautiful finish, but if Bruce has played where he's played for most of this quarter, and that's 40 metres out for goal, he's got nowhere to run there. It's about losing your man in traffic too. That's the craft and the skills of a forward.
Well, I'll tell you what, there would be a few Essendon supporters that wouldn't like to see, and particularly Essendon players and coaches, wouldn't like to see that piece of vision either.
And if you wanted the response, and all the supporters that have come here and they're sitting at home on the couch watching it, and you just thought, where's the ferocity of the response? It hasn't arrived as yet.
And that's not great piece of vision. Hurley, who we lauded before, was fantastic. Let him go, let him lead up the contest. There was two mids of Essendon that could have maybe laid a tackle. Bruce walked through it, kicked the goal.
And the restart. Stolen by Dunstan. Wobbles one, it's a floater, it's tough to mark. Kemp was down there. Couldn't get on the end of it. Zaharakis left it for Merritt. He left it behind. Nunes around his body, and Sinclair's got it. 35 out, directly out. And this is a huge kick for momentum for Jack Sinclair. One thing to have an untidy start for your first home game of the season, coming off a 72-point loss like the Bombers are. It's another one to concede 2 goals in a minute and suddenly find yourself chasing tail. Hasn't had a lot of shots this spot, all grounds. Big kick, keeps it low, and he misses. Massive let off.
I think the concern is it's 11-6 inside 50s. You know, that's a concern if you're an Essendon supporter, and certainly again in the coach's box. 11-6, nearly double inside 50s.
Francis Long, it's a good strong grab. Stringer, Geary thought he had him cooked. Stringer was too strong.
It's pretty slow. It's pretty slow, isn't it? Like you've marked the kick in. You'd hope that you could get it going and be sort of deep inside your forward line now.
Merritt looks inside. Heads toward Hurley. Sat it in the air a long time. Membry stole it from him, picked his pocket, and couldn't complete the deal.
He just needed a bit more composed than Membry. He actually had a couple of teammates, and it was a 3v2 going inside 50.
Saints fans have seen this movie before. Yeah, 1 goal, 5. And it could easily be 5 goals, 1. Straight down the spine. Parrish has missed with this kick. Saints get another chance. Jack Stephen, little fumble. Turns back outside. Had a couple of options. This is a massive kick from 50. Billings across the face a little. And Kent can't get there. It's another behind. 1-6.
Well, they're all over Essendon. Yeah. They're playing the ball in their half on their own terms. They've got repeat entries. They've just got to make the most of it. I didn't mind the kick from Francis. He missed, but at least it showed a little bit of want to do something a bit more aggressive.
Yeah, they've really struggled to get out of their defence, haven't they?
It's another chance, Francis. Bell Chambers, Marshall, big pack flies. Geary tried to flick on, didn't really work. Wasn't a lot there for him to flick on to anyway. Ross inside. Dunstan got a free man, middle of the ground. Push, hold, take your pick. Akers has got it. Back into the lineup, goes wide towards Kent. Bouncing ball, got some space and some composure. Turns inside, goes to Membry. Tunneled a little, tunneled enough, according to the umpire, who was 3 metres away. And he's got 400 games of experience, Brett Rosebery. He liked what he saw to pay that one.
Saints fans, if you would be over the moon with what you're seeing, apart from the finishing, because their effort and their want to win the footy back, the coverage of Membry earlier when he cut the long ball, the switch play, they're tuned in, they know what they're trying to do. They've just got to convert. It's been impressive everywhere except for this last bit.
Career set shots this spot. Pretty good numbers. Couple of skip steps into 49. Struck it nicely. Goal umpire moves a little. They're going to get a big scare this afternoon on this, the Bombers.
Well, that's 9 inside 50s in a row to the St Kilda Football Club. But they really needed that goal. They really needed to capitalise on their dominance. 14-6 inside 50s, 8 scoring shots. Great little kick from Kent. I like the fact the umpires are really, I don't know whether crackdown's the right term, but I like the fact, Gaz, that defenders who are trying to move the forwards under, wrap an arm around. I think the umpires have been really diligent in that, giving the forwards an opportunity. And being an old defender, I'm not trying to hang the defenders, but there's a way to defend and there's a way not to defend. So I think that's good umpiring and a good finish.
Dyson Heppel stays outside on the wing. The captain out here, should he be in there for this critical centre clearance?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, look, it's, as I said, 14-6 inside 50. So the box, there's got to be a lot of discussion in the coaching box at the moment.
Bruce gave it up to Ross, didn't bend it as much as he would have liked, but he gets the clearance. Sinclair's out there, led in the race for it. Caught, gave it to Stephen, he flicked it over the top, and it's out of play. And remember, the Bombers conceded the first 5 goals of the game last week and never recovered. Deja vu for that man, John Worsfold.
Hold that meter.
Bill Chambers and Wilkie in the ruck now, knocks it down. Always a throw from Myers.
High, St Kilda.
High.
St Kilda high. Acres. Right out.
Akers ball.
Play on.
Pulls the kick late and Hurley read it well, though Wilkie dropped into the hole.
Here you go.
Nicely read into the ruck now. And he keeps it low, hoping for, well, Membry or Bruce would have done. Zaharakis half back, little overrun of it. And takes it to the line.
I guess you'd ask yourself right now, what's dangerous about this Essendon side? We've seen plenty to love about St Kilda, but what is, and there's nothing at the moment. The timing forward half here is, that sort of tells you your story right now. And when they have gone forward, they haven't looked particularly dangerous either.
Play on.
Shiel put his head down.
Play on, knock it.
Gresham. Akers. Miss Sinclair, got it to Shiel. Handball to his feet, though. Couldn't get it and go. Sinclair lays a tackle in the scramble. Comes to the back. Ross gets a chance. Loops it all the way back to Nunes. Steele, nearly Steele.
That's Zach Merritt there, that the ball slipped through his hands. A mark that he's been taking since he probably put... And I don't know whether... Did he flinch then? Flinch for contact? It's just... I mean, he's been taking that mark since he's 6 years old, Zach Merritt.
Wilkie from behind again on Bill Chambers. Myers scrambles it away, and their scramble kicks the majority of them right now. Stringer attacks it hard, held his ground, flicked it over the top to Smith. Better movement this. Overcooked the pass toward Brown. Brown jumps on him. Almost dragged it under him. But Donald Tipperwoody gets a chance. Slung. Langford caught. Gang tackled. Held an enormous amount of time. Had to be gone.
Great pressure. That's great pressure in their back half. They're all over these little forwards at the moment.
Yeah, they're starting to get some real confidence, the Saints, aren't they? They had that 1-point win last week, which we always say is really, really important. And now they're starting to grow in their confidence, and Essendon look pretty ordinary at the moment.
Bill Chambers marked the McKenzie kick. Out to send it back. Goes by hand to Myers, who can blast the ball. Gets a lot on this. It won't be enough. Stringer, Brown. It's through for... In fact, it's on the full.
I mean, St Kilda have been winning one-on-ones in their defensive 50, which is, I mean, it's an inexperienced back half to some degree, but they're on top.
Nunes again. You can feel their confidence lifting the Saints. Okay, they won last week. It was a thriller. But they beat a team they were expected to beat last week, the Gold Coast. Suddenly, they feel like they're in this against the team expected to make the 8th.
Devon Smith, 2 possessions. Dyson Heppel just 1. They're the heart and soul players. They've just got to find some football.
Akers again. Got it up just in time. Nunes through traffic. Membry turned inside out. In the end, he couldn't quite get back, and the mark taken against him, even though he was kind of in the right spot for a short pass. Saints still have the numbers on the wing. Quick transition, a hold, and it's going to go to Loney, and he darts away. 2 Bombers players just came to the bench. It was their time to turn, and they left their man free. Membry goes back to Loney. He kicks to the pocket. Tough one. Parker's up. Made a contest and will get a ball in.
That's a great effort, Jack Loney. 2-on-1 to win the footy back. But what's this from St Kilda? That is just appalling.
That is unbelievable.
That is appalling football.
Wow.
Just stop playing the ball and ran off the ground.
From the flick down, well, Gresham tried to go from mid-air.
Just talk us through, Brucey, how you can stop playing the game here. Just watch this again. So they've conceded. He ran over the footy, Guelphy, and just left it and ran off the ground.
And Langford ran off the ground too. 2 Essendon players ran off the ground.
Saar goes back. Gave it to Guelphy. Kick half smother. Big collision middle of the ground. That is a sensational grab from Wilkie. Premiership player for North Adelaide last year in the Sandful. Picked up as a mature age recruit. He knows how to play, and he can take a mature body when it comes at him. Loney goes wide again. Geary caught. Sprays the kick. Goes to Brown. Now the Bombers get a chance, and the Bombers fans are roaring. Why aren't you playing on quickly?
Because they've got nothing ahead of the footy, Dino, because they've all pushed themselves up. They're trying to defend in big numbers, but they can't go quick because they're out of position.
So they just pump it down the line. Stringer can't get there to attempt to mark. Merritt feeds it back. Got it to McGrath. Almost run down. Was run down by Geary. Fantastic chase. Put the pressure on the handball. Loney wanted the pill. And he won himself a free kick for his trouble.
He's been superb, Loney, and Membry in their defensive efforts as forwards. You couldn't be happier with their effort. Just to win the ball back, chase, tackle, intercept, get a hand in here. Been superb.
He hasn't got this kick in him. Bit of a wayward kick a goal anyway. Worse than 50%, 45-50 career. He sits it up, hoping for the leapers, and Francis is in the spot.
You see Callum Wilkie in
trouble. Nunes, wrap-around tackle, held him a long time. Jack Stephen, post.
Geez, they're just a team out of confidence, aren't they? Have a look at this.
You want to package that up with Guelphy running off the ground, and it sums up where they're at.
Absolutely.
Massive crowd of Bomber supporters here for their first home game of the season. And they might be about to see a goalless opening term.
And what they've got to do is get out of themselves here, because this is where they've been dangerous in the past. This is where McGrath and Sard run off half-back. McKenna, they take risks through the middle. But you can just see them at the minute. This is better. They've got to try and switch this up a bit.
And getting restless down here at ground level. That's the Bombers supporters behind me. Very vocal already.
So it'll be quarter time here, and then it'll be goalless this opening term for the Bombers, who were down 5 goals to 0 last week. First home game of the season. Absolutely. Have a listen to this. It's like a morgue out there.
Yeah, well, and that's as bad as the first quarter as you could have dared hope you wouldn't see on the back of the performance in round 1.
Trouble in paradise for the Bombers in their first home game of 2019. The Saints have them on the ropes early, 2-7.
The players at the end of that speech, that is what they're drawing on. They're drawing on other experiences. They've got to go one more time.
Fantasia 1 possession, Heppel 1 possession, Devon Smith just 3 possessions. I mean, these are the blokes, and Heppel again starts outside the centre square. Hey, you've got to find some footy if you're going to play out on a wing.
And again, deathly silence from the home team's fans. Bellchambers, Marshall against him. Ball slap past Stringer. Geary got there first. Rode the bump beautifully. Gave it to Ross. Gave it to Billings. Gave it to Kent. Got up but couldn't mark it. Merritt cleans it up. Gave it to Heppel. Flicks it out wide to Bagley. Can he hit a chest? He goes short to Brown. Bombs it. Top of the square. McKernan got up and got it.
Talent-wise, this player has got everything. Talent-wise, he's just not 100% he's going to kick this goal. And he needs to, I mean, he needs to impose himself. He went through a purple patch of form last year that suggested that he'd turned the corner and he was going to become a really, really good key forward. And then he does some things where you can shake your head. But this would be the perfect start. And just give him a little bit of belief, a bit of excitement.
And give him a goal. And he hits the post.
Sort of sums the whole career up.
And goal kicking, isn't it still the most underrated stat in footy, isn't it? 2 goals, 7, 0 goals, 3.
Webster.
With a roof on.
Yep.
And newly laid turf. Billings out wide. Kent leaves it, stayed down. Heppel almost pounced. He did pounce. Gave it to Stringer. Turns inside. Shiel. Pop pass. McDonald, Tippin Woody. Good movement this. Can he find a chest on the move? Fantasia.
And this is what Essendon have got to do is to somehow generate some excitement into their brand of footy. But to do that, you've got to turn and go. It's a thing that makes everyone move. If McDonald Tippin Woody doesn't turn and go, it goes back, it's another slow high ball. Turn and move, then Fantasia moves. It generates a bit of movement all over the place.
Crowd give him silence. From 49, drives it, but it's wide.
Well, there's 2 chances to get right back in the game, isn't it? But I mean, St Kilda had a chance in the first quarter, 2-7 to put the game away almost. So there's a little bit of justice in that, isn't there?
Savage given some space to play on. Marshall's his target, and he did well, the big man. Bill Chambers went to ground, claims he was pushed. So they dropped Pearce after last week's win and brought in Rowan Marshall. He's done okay so far. Geary. He's got Brown in the defensive goal square if he wants him. He doesn't take that out. Marshall again. Pumps it down the line. Membry up. Dumped away by Francis. Got it towards the boundary. Ball in. And this crowd still stunned.
I'd love one of these smaller Essendon forwards, the mid-sized forwards, to go to the goal square and then enable them to work in a 50-metre arc and can go either way. Right now, all the forwards for Essendon are outside the 50-metre mark.
Shear got there first. Turns inside. Merritt stripped by Bruce, who dives back in. He wanted it desperately, but he jumped on it. When he jumped on it, he left himself open to be caught holding it. Francis. He keeps it low. And too wide for Stringer. And Stringer gave him a little look and maybe a noun and a verb or two.
There's Dylan Shiel there after he made the mistake with the handball to Zach Merritt, trying to get some run off half back, but in the process, this St Kilda forward pressure's holding him up.
And slapped down. Stringer goes off the deck, but it was untidy, but he does gain 15.
Aaron Francis is a really ambitious kick, Ruzi. When he gets it and gets it right, it sets everything up, but at the moment he's going at 50%, which I think is something he's kicking up too.
Smith lays the tackle. Hairball gets a chance. Tucked up against the boundary, goes to ground, takes it out.
Yeah, there's a couple of things there, Gaz, that I think you're right. I mean, the kicking of Francis, which is normally good, and then the spray that Stringer's given to his teammates. So, yeah, look, they're a team bereft of confidence at the moment, starting to yell at each other. They need a goal so it doesn't fall apart.
Billings flicked it out. Gresham on hands and knees. Heppel's picked it up and kicks it inside 50, hoping for McKernan. Big fist comes from Brown. Thumped it straight back out again. Good crumb by Kent. Gave it to Webster. Gee, they're out here, the Saints. Gresham can get and go. He turns inside and he blasts it, hoping for Akers. Big.
Oh!
Bruce hit the roof.
He sat up there for a while, didn't he?
What a mark.
It looked like it was going to go over his head.
Great call, Dwayno. He nearly hit the roof. He hovered and hung. And the kick from Webster, Webster's been outstanding. Yeah. Jimmy Webster from out of half-back has been everything that the Essendon half-backs haven't been. Been really assured with the footy. He's been creative with the ball use. And as a result, a monster hang.
1 metre. 1 metre forward. No, 1 metre. Yes.
Just needs to finish the work. All the momentum with the Saints.
I'll tell you what was impressive about that mark is just his ability to keep his eyes on the ball, because he sort of jumped a little bit early. And if you watch it here, watch his jump. It's a tiny bit early, and he's off balance about here. And look, He just keeps his eyes on the footy.
Was there a bit of Trevor Barker about this?
Yeah,
there was a famous Trevor Barker mark that used to be the start of the winners.
Yeah.
Twisted his body mid-air.
Yeah, he did. He jumped up and spun.
Right.
Yeah. But just his ability to extend his arms out there and keep his eyes on the footy as he knew he was off balance and falling to the ground. That's a better mark. I know it looked good, Dwayne, but it's even a better mark than it looked.
And given that you've got that Trevor Barker reference out there, Gazza, black armbands being worn for a couple of other Saints champions today by the Saints, Lance Oswald and Gary Sidebottom, who've passed away recently.
Brucey, you would have played with Gary Sidebottom.
Yeah, I played with Gary Sidebottom, and what an absolute fantastic fella. I learned a lot from him. It was a privilege to play with him for a couple of years, and condolences to both those families.
Geelong, Fitzroy and St Kilda, Gary Sidebottom. Steele got it away. Gee, they're up here. Dunstan looks up. There's no one in the square. He goes all the way home.
This is St Kilda supporters would have been coming here today. I would imagine they would have been relieved last week when they walked away with a 1-point victory, and now what they're seeing is some real excitement about this setup. And I like the forward setup. I like that Kent's gone a little bit deeper, so he's taken Guelphy, identified a mismatch there. He's worked up and then come back, and there was space there, and then the kick was finished. This is fantastic from St Kilda's point of view. It is disastrous from Essendon, and it needs a response right now before it gets out of hand. Look at Josh Bruce here. That tells you the spirit's there.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure it is in the red.
Well, Zaharakis had a chance to put Steele away with a tackle, missed the tackle. So that started that goal.
It's like an infection, a sweat through the group, and they are all up for the fight now, the Saints. They believe all of a sudden that last week wasn't a one-off.
Who would have thought that we're at the 9-minute or 8.5-minute mark of the second quarter and we're saying Essendon need to score a goal to get them involved in the game?
Merritt. Lots of Saints players back, filling holes. Big flyers go up. Stringer trying to manufacture something with brilliance. Turns inside, turns outside, spins, kicks, goals, says follow me.
Well done. Well done, Jake Stringer, because he made a goal out of nothing there, and they absolutely need it. You called it, Gaz. They absolutely need it, and that's just individual brilliance. And under normal circumstances, Gaz, I might be critical of him not giving a handball, but he's recognised the moment, and he said, well, something needs to happen here, and he's used his speed. Here it is here. I'm not sure there's anyone to give it to, mind you, but he just said, nah, I'll do it and I'll kick a goal.
It might be time for them to isolate Stringer and just say, listen, we're going that bad, then we'll strip it all back and say, work some magic. I know Brown's the man in the goal square at the moment, but is he the one that's going to set your light? Mate, I know Stringer's just outside 50, but might be time just to give him a bit more room.
Finished last week with a slight foot problem. In fact, had a moon boot on for a little while. Moved well there. Marshall up early, knocks it down towards Gresham. Fans it wide, might still work. McGrath got a palm on it. Knocked it away from Parker, who jumps back in to keep it in the area. He's done well, Parker. Coming off a good first game of his career as a 23-year-old last week.
Like Gresham up in the middle of the ground too. Clearance out of the centre there, a little bit of excitement, something different.
Heppel missed his shoe. Akers jumped on it and then was jumped on. Guelphy, Stephen, Billings. Trying for Dunstan. Gresham's given them plenty. And he pops it to a good spot. And Parker.
That was a great kick.
And he takes off. He mesmerised them again.
Watch him, Reno, watch him. He's a big celebrator. I love it. He's waited a long time, Roosie. He's waited a long time to be on the big stage.
Well, Gresham, well done, because we talked about the bump before the game started, the hargy-bargy, and we both said, put your head over the footy. Here it is, Gresham putting his head over the footy. 5 Essendon players, 5 there, and 1 St Kilda player who's prepared to put his head. And we're not going to stand on the mark today. That's too hard for us. So there it is. Look at that. Look at that. There's more actually black and red jumpers, but 1 white jumper put his head over the ball. And that, look, Darcy. I mean, I don't want to be overly critical, Dwayne, but it is frustrating for an Essendon supporter, and I'm not even an Essendon supporter.
I like Gresham, though. In and around the footy. Class. I mean, you can be a bit same in there sometimes. Mix it up.
And the kick too, a great kick. Head down, pick it up, put into a dangerous spot. Well done.
Bill Chambers thumps it with a fist. Merritt in hard off the square. Turned into trouble. They march on hands and knees. Gave it up to Geary, kicks it wide. Big ball to win here. Hurley got there. That's a magnificent tackle by little Loney. And he picked up the share and gave it to Stephen. Saints fans roaring. Bounce pass from Stephen. Got it to Sinclair. Got it inside 50. Ball to the back. Membry's there. Kent's there. Open goal. They've got another.
Well, another big moment in the game. We keep talking about it. There's a bit of a blue going on behind the play.
Too late, I think, for the Bombers. I think the Saints should be giggling. Right now, the Saints are giggling. They're thinking, we've got them right where we want them.
I was just going to say, another big moment. Big man Hurley versus little man Loney, and little man took him down. Oh, Hurley went at the ball, so I don't want to be overly critical at Hurley. Here it is here. So he went at the ball, Hurley. That's okay. But there's the little man. Just gets up, nice and quick.
Not the first time Loney has done that today.
Yep.
And I'm not sure that was exactly a monster part of his game last year. I'm not sure he sticks that tackle last year. So you're looking for a change in mindset. It's been encapsulated a little bit by the likes of Loney.
Still a ton of time left in this game. Over to you, Essendon. What have you got? What have you got in your chest? Show us a bit of ticket. Bruce goes up. Bell Chambers there. Jack Stephen. Stringer's in the middle now to generate some momentum. Rolls it back towards half forward. Smith gets there. Geary corrals him. Keeps it low. Goal square. Bagley!
Well, Heppel went into the centre square as well in that instance there, and Smith started out. Both those players are struggling impact, so change it up. I like that. I'd rather see someone try something than continue to go down the same path.
Tucked up against the boundary. Going to think his way through it. Well within the repertoire of the modern player, this, but it's a big moment. And he's squeezed it through. Just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, and the centre bounces now give you an opportunity, don't they, really? So they're so critical. As we watch it here, and you mentioned Heppel in the midfield, Devon Smith hasn't played a couple of tackles, but he hasn't really got involved in the game.
So they've swapped them. So you now got Smith starting inside 50, Rizzy. So he'd had 3 touches up until that point as a sort of midfielder. So throw him forward and change the look.
Well, they've certainly got some depth, really, haven't they? I mean, if you throw in Shiel and Devon Smith in the last 2 years, Heppel now coming in the midfield off half back. You got young McGrath, you got Parrish coming in, you got Langford who's been in there as well. So they've got the depth to be able to throw their team around a bit.
So McKernan into the ruck for the Bombers. Bruce in there for the Saints. Good bounce to restart it. Both got a piece of it. Knocked back past the ruckman. Parrish had a chance, had to wrap it up. Langford caught, slips the tackle. Goes back, gets it, gave it to Zaharakis. Gets it to half forward. Stringer playing from behind. It might still work for him.
Devon Smith.
Just the last 3 minutes, a touch of urgency in this. What did they kick? Couple. Well, they only kicked 2 for the day, but 2 of the last 4, and Smith going forward might just mean that the ball stays
centre
inside
clearance
50.
a bit, isn't it, too? So you win 2 centre clearances. Gee, I'm not sure that's a free kick, is it?
Soft free kick.
Hey?
Soft free kick.
I'd like to see it from the other side, but...
Smith pumps it, top of the square. Stringer up from 4 deep. Couldn't bring it down, though. Nunes, Geary, Ross. Well, he felt for contact. Zaharakis took him out.
So a little bit of forward half pressure for probably the first time this afternoon being felt by St Kilda. Forward half in Essendon's forward half.
McKernan with Wilkie. Knocked down to Zaharakis. Bagley. Centering kick. Brown and Battle nearly pulled that down. McDonald, Tip and Woody tried to knock on, and Geary sees it out. Under some pressure here, the Saints.
So Smith trying to get involved, a little bit of niggle, trying to spark things up. Battle is the player they identified to go back. He was recruited as a forward. He's acquitting himself well.
244s, Wilkie, McKernan, Wilkie, Geary. Brown kicks it off the deck, no free for a hold. Myers, caught, slung, Sinclair. Parker's under it, Bruce is under it. Bruce gathers his own crumb. Crunch. Big tackle from behind by Fantasia.
I suspect they've laid more tackles in the last 3 or 4 minutes in the 450 than they've laid all game, isn't it?
No doubt the Bombers have gone up a gear. And boy, did they need to. Langford inside. Missed his target. McKernan was the man he was after. Got it anyway. Gave it to Mirror. Back to Langford. Hits a good spot with the kick. Stringer under it. Couldn't get the run at it. Big fist from McKenzie. Got it down to ground. Unbelievable from Loney again.
Great effort.
And now Kent's got 2 to beat. He's got Francis, he's got Sard, he's got a toe, he's got the boundary line, and he's got the roar of the Saints fans behind him as he takes it to the line.
Oh, no.
Wow.
That was an accident. That was an accident.
That's just no fear for the umpire, is it?
That was an accident. He didn't deliberately kick the ball out of bounds, which is the rule is you're not doing your best to keep the footy in.
Bombers need a break or two, they're getting a break or two. Hurley, Langford, back to Hurley, back to Francis.
Some sort of pressure's been great all day. Their willingness to push hard, to make sure there's no easy out, no easy exit for this Essendon defence.
One of the main conversations from Brett Rutten, the forwards coach for the Saints, was the responsibility of the forwards to start their zone defence. It's their responsibility to push up, find their man, and then allow the mids and the defenders to get into their position as a result.
It's working, Dan. It's working.
Nick Dalsato downstairs. McGrath took the step. He's got Hurley out wide. He heads wider. Fantasia. Heads to the pocket. Stringer's down there. Stringer's down there.
Isolate him, Brano. He's got the look. He's got a feel. He wants to be that man. He looks dangerous. Fantasia's getting involved. He's been horribly quiet. Just a little slight turn in momentum here.
To bring the crowd back into it. They're desperate to roar. He hasn't bent that at all. That's a banana without a bend in it.
I know we're always second-guess players, but it's a pretty regulation drop punt from a slight angle, isn't it, really?
Well, I'm changing. I don't mind them doing it, but that, to me, looked like he didn't take a hell of a lot of care.
Geary heads wide. Marshall's down there. McKernan's down there. Little nudge out, McKernan. Got away with it. And then the kick was smothered. Oh, Loney's free.
Here's the deliberate we're having a look at.
It was just a toe poke to keep it in front of him.
Down the line, Loney got it towards Membry. Off hands and will get another ball in.
You mentioned Fantasia. Doesn't the game change when he gets involved? Whether that's if he made a tackle before, he was on the lead. He's the guy for me. He's only had the 3 disposals, but he adds the spark, adds the speed, adds the defensive pressure. He needs to get involved in the game.
Kernan's having an impact. Flicks it down, but Marshall stole it from him. Bruce stands under it. Membry's there. Membry got there late, couldn't complete it. Jumped in, they jump on him. Big pack around at Heppel. Merritt. Parrish. Might still get it. Marshall there, knocked it away. Billings.
That's a great effort, Darcy Parrish.
Smith, Parrish, McKernan. Feeds it over the top. Saints have the numbers, though. They're working hard, the Saints. Billings to Ross. Turns inside. 3 Bombers around Akers. Beat all 3 of them. And now they're out the back. Kent looks up. He's got a bit of space and a couple of options. He needs to hit a chest. Thumps it up long, hoping for Membry or Bruce. Bruce is free.
Well, been told this week that we've got to be more on the positive than the negative, but Horatio Fantasia, you might want to tune out. Because that back in the middle of the ground, ball that sat in the air, said if you are life depends on it sort of football mentality, which you would expect every Essendon player to have, then you failed yourself. And this is the result. We'll have a look at it in a moment.
Yeah, well, Michael Hurley's got every right to think, why is the ball down in my area?
Correct. It should have. We'll have a look at it in a moment.
Bombers were having a good patch. Had a 4 or 5 minute patch where they had the momentum, and Bruce can't turn that momentum around. That's a horrific shot.
This is the ball. That's a dangerous kick in the middle of the ground. 3-on-1, and it goes with an arm and half a knee. They should have just split the player down the middle, Ruzi.
Yeah. Saad jumped around him, and so did Fantasia.
Marshall, that's a good pluck.
East-west. Get out, Sean. Stay out.
He's standing tall in just his 14th game. Rowan Marshall. Hits a pretty good spot with this. Membry from behind. Tried to claim it. Still trying to claim it. Even from the second call of play on. Ross goes inside. Dunstan. Loney working hard. Membry working hard. Handball to himself then. Gave it back to Webster. He parted the seas. Then he was slung by Springer Paul.
It's a one-handed tackle. Great tackle.
And 50.
And 50. That's just not smart by Jack Steele.
Well, Jake Stringer should jump up and sprint and try and drag another 50 while the fight's going on.
Here we go, Stringer. So no one's in the goal square. Stringer looks up. He's almost within range. He could do the big siegeman.
They sorted that out pretty well in the end, the Saints.
Pulls the kick late. Little tap down to his own advantage. That was delightful. Long ball by Gresham is good. Gave it to Nunes. Kent is out. Needs to be a good kick. He might go all the way home. He goes to Kent. Pocket got it.
Well, is it amazing? Some of the stage of this game. We've got Stringer gets a 50-metre penalty. It looks like Essendon are going to score. They wait. Great effort from Gresham, one-on-one contest. Now Kent's having a shot at goal. Big moments all going to the Saints, aren't they?
Gresham and Loney. Just big step forward from two blokes that were, small forwards. Loney's been hard and tough, and Gresham's midfield stuff's been outstanding.
I know it's only round 2, but you feel like the Bombers season hinges on this. Kent starts at the near side and misses.
And there's a symbolism in some stuff too, because some leadership questions were asked. This was a really good tackle. I don't think he even knew he was going to tackle.
Tackled him around the neck.
Tackled the ball. But they were questioned about their leadership through the week. Horatio Fantasia's in the leadership group. And that's what causes some issues.
Down the line towards Heppel. Steele had a chance. Jack Stephen gave it up. Squeeze pass turned over to McGrath. Akers holds him up. Big 5 minutes coming up here to half-time.
They can pull it back by a goal and a half here and get it to 20 points. It'll be the great escape.
Yeah, it will be. 6-9, isn't it?
Saad can get and go. Ton of space. One-on-one's ahead. Heads out wide towards Smith. Spoil was illegal. Fantasia can play onto advantage. Got the runners inside. Zaharakis hands it up. Shiel. Fantasia. Brown. He's got the distance in him if he cranks up on it.
Well, he's going to have a shot. They had Bellchambers in the square long if he wanted to go quickly, but I don't mind. He's taking responsibility here, Mitch Brown. Played enough footy to know his capabilities. He better go the journey.
It's close to the man on the mark. It's sailing. It's sailing. It's touched on the line.
Still
McDonald Tipman-Woody claims he's kicked the goal. We're going to have to wait here.
I think it's either a goal or a goal, if you know what I mean. So,
I know what you mean.
Just want to confirm if the ball had crossed.
Because I don't think this. I think. Oh, hang on. Here we go.
Hit the post.
Oh, hit the post. Yeah. No wonder no one touched it.
He didn't look like he had signalled anything, the umpire.
Yeah.
And while the ball stayed alive for a split second, but no, that's at the post.
Yeah, clear vision there. I thought it was knocked back in by a St Kilda player behind the line, and then Donald Tipman-Woody picked it up and kicked the goal, but clear vision.
McDonald Tipman-Woody's another one who's got to get busy, Ruzi.
Yeah, definitely.
He's laid just one tackle for the afternoon.
Back to the 9.
Mackenzie.
Play on. Back to the 9, David. Back to the 9.
Wilkie gets a chance to work this out. Keeps it short, just the required 15. Webster.
It's awareness of where the game's at, how much time's on the clock. 3:50. Be a bit more conservative.
Akers Guelphy out wide. Ball hits the deck. Big ball to win. Akers wrap-up tackle on McGrath. He slipped out the back of it. Trying to get it to Heppel. He's tied up. Umpire circling. Ball comes out to Billings. Slams it on the boot.
Throw it in. Out of bounds.
Out of bounds it was before the kick. 3:32 left.
So just looking now behind the footy, the Saints may... No, I thought they may have dropped one behind the footy, but they are maintaining one-on-one.
An edge of the seat stuff from the outset. Big crowd in Marvel Stadium. And the ball flicked to the back to Smith. Belchambers got it to him nicely. Wilkie stands under it, and there's that 23-year-old experience again. Content to take it to the line, knowing exactly what's on the line.
He hasn't looked out of place at all in just his second game of AFL footy.
He won the premiership last year, but missed the footy trip to go to the draft combine in the hope that he might get picked up, and he got picked up. It was well worth missing that footy trip, as good as Barley might be.
Where's the footy trip, Barley? Yeah.
It'll still be there for a while, Barley, won't
I
it?
reckon choice of playing AFL footy and going to Barley. I think I'd pick AFL footy.
On the rookie list. An opportunity for a lot of mature age recruits, which is fantastic under the new rules.
Play on.
Myers tried to get it inside. Bombers circling this ball. Heppel a little overzealous. Didn't really do anything wrong, but...
Picking the ball up. He's protected. You run into him.
Okay, so it's Merritt's ball first.
It was before that.
Before that height.
Yep, yep.
So Merritt gets a chance here from just beyond his range. McKernan's in the goal square. String is in the goal square. Puts it up long. McKernan, Stringer! Got up high, couldn't bring it down. Geary tried to scramble it away. Danger here for the Saints. McGrath, he goes up. Zaharakis and McGrath spoil each other, not on the same page. Billings goes long, heads it to the wing. 2 minutes 24 left in the half. Hurley, McGrath, Guelphy. Time to spend it wisely. Kicks it long. Belchambers. He got up. Brown knocked it down. Down to Webster. Steele turns it over. And now Shiel gets a chance to send it back in. Stringer still waiting for the long bomb. He's up early, Stringer. Nearly plucked it. McDonald, Tip and Woody had a piece of it.
Oh, no.
And Loney takes it through. Deliberate.
He thought they were coming with him. He thought Essendon players were going to come with him and continue the pressure on. And I reckon just as he stepped over the line, Roosy, he sort of throws his head back and goes, oh no.
2 goals in a row to Essendon, and they're back in it.
I'd love to hear and we'll maybe listen to the umpire.
So he's clearly got the ball inside of play and gone over the line, Jaron.
No, I got no problem with that. He didn't make any attempt to go elsewhere. And we've seen how good he's been all day. He can turn on a pin, on a dime.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Now, just to be clear, the viewers, if there had been an Essendon player just following even within 5 metres, and I guess that's the frustrating part of the rule. Just because there's an Essendon player there, it's okay. Here it is. We'll look at it again.
And he got it outside the square, the umpire said, so he's outside the play.
Right.
And no pressure. There was no one near him. So I don't have an issue with that. And I think he fully expected to have a bit of heat on him. So, but it's a big, big moment for the Bombers.
Yeah.
And a huge minute and a half here. Marshall gets the hand out. Billings, can they get one back here, the Saints? Short pass is delightful. On the march, Savage. Bombers flooding players back. 1:20 left. He sits it up. Membry attacked it. Dumped out of play. Bruce to do the ruck work. Bill Chambers in front of him. Big pack of players around him. One-on-ones everywhere. Gresham, sidestep, bends it. It's bending. It's bending.
Oh, yes.
Can they get one back? They've got the answers.
He's had a good first half, Gresham, hasn't he? Just a really good... We'll need to have a look at the hit again. I don't know if there's a deliberate hit. I don't think it would be hitting it 10 metres backwards, but just his positioning as we look at it here. He's off the back of the stoppage.
It was a Dyson Hepley's man, or Dyson Hepley's man, and just lost him.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great story unfolding here, because his career, Jay Gresham, we've known how good a player he is and what he's been able to do, but for him to become, like, he could be anything by the end of the year if he continues to play midfield minutes and develop along these lines, and you don't find out unless they're given the chance. It's just a really good story emerging, Jay Gresham.
Back in the middle. 60 seconds left. Marshall gets up high. Bellchambers knocked it down. Shiel had a chance. Hope for the free. Heppel gave it to Merritt. Knocked away. Heppel back out to McGrath. Inside from Shiel. Got it back to McGrath. Maybe a chance for the Bombers to steal a late one. McGrath pumps it wide. He's got Myers.
He's a beautiful kick, Myers, too. So it's good. Well done from McGrath, just to use his legs to get through traffic and then give himself an opportunity. I love the way he didn't blast the ball here.
Oh, it's a big moment, isn't it? Probably the last play of the game, of the half. It's out at 28 points. It's a dangerous territory. It's be just a little counter punch on the way in. And they haven't had many.
Shouldn't be scared by the siren. Should get a kick away just in time. 5 left on the clock. And he drills it. Big moment, and he was equal to it.
Yeah, big moment is a big moment, because as much as they've been outplayed, look, they have, but to be fair to Essendon, they've been better this quarter, and we're starting to see a little bit better attack on the footy. And as we said here, McGrath, just watch him. Shield's been pretty good. Back in, so I love this. Just take the legs, use the legs, take around there, through the middle.
Would that be the messaging for you at half-time? It's just Fantasia, McGrath, McDonald, Woody, McKenna, Sard. You've got to take the game.
Well, they looked quick at the end of last year, didn't they?
Yeah,
I mean, they've got quick, genuine quick players, but you wouldn't say in the first half they've looked a quick team, would you?
No.
Still got some work to do, the Bombers. John Worsfold, 4th season as coach. Signed to the end of 2020. He's got a massive job to do at half-time to get his team back in this contest. And Alan Richardson, he's been under pressure of his own. 6th season as coach of the Saints. He's about to become the 2nd longest serving coach all time this year at the Saints, Alan Richardson. What a moment for him at half-time to try and keep this momentum, this enthusiasm, this infectious desire going in the second half. Nick Dalsato.
And the excitement, Dwayne. I think that's the other thing. There's an excitement around St Kilda and the way they're playing, and that's been a long time coming.
Nick Dalsato with Jack Nunes.
Well, Nunes, first things first. The effort, the intensity, it's been there the first half.
Yeah, first couple of quarters, we've ticked it off. The boys' pressure was great. Felt like we turned the ball over, got it going forward. Just didn't quite capitalise with a couple of points, but I'm really happy with the first half.
How does that feel on ground when you know you're doing all the hard work but not getting a reward for it, or minimal reward for it?
Oh, look, it's not too bad at the moment. Our tails are up. We're still flying. Got plenty of run in the leg, so we're really excited about the second half, and we're going to try and run it out.
Just looked like it opened up a little bit there late. Both teams having more opportunity free going forward.
Yeah, it did. I think it's the centre bounce. I think a bit more space. They got a couple of goals late, but we'll get about this half.
Thanks for your time. All the best.
Cheers, mate.
Nick Dalsato with Jack Nunes. Could be season-changing for these two teams, this game. Massive difference for the Bombers between starting 0-2 and 1-1. And could the Saints start their season with 2 wins? It's evolving into a classic. Don't go anywhere. 29 plays, 51. Has a big job to do in what is his milestone game. 350 games as a coach.
It's a season more than Clarko.
It's funny, when I looked at that earlier on, I wouldn't have picked that. I would have said Clarko had coached more, but I mean, look, both great coaches. John Worsfold, premiership coach, and look, he's under pressure, but he's been there before, and he's handled. He's an experienced guy, as that graph would suggest. So he'd be looking for a better effort. They got back in the game, Gaz, in that quarter. So in those situations, I don't think he'd be overly negative at half-time, but in the back of his mind, there's some trepidation going up into the box, what he's going to see now.
Well, we're looking for a bit of dare from them, and I'm looking for that from Essendon, and I'm looking for the Saints to hold their nerve and continue to do what they did so magnificently in the first half, and that is just be composed. The ball goes into their forward 50, pressure, try and win it back, and they've had all the answers so far. Stringers look likely at times, but gee, the St Kilda Footy Club, you'd have to be impressed with what they served up in that first half. Can they maintain it? There'd be many out there who would think that maybe Essendon will get rolling in this second half, but the Saints don't look inclined to be rolled over.
No, this looks like a different St Kilda to the team that finished 16th last year with just 4.5 wins. Second half underway, Bill Chambers down towards Jack Stephen. Got out of a bind, but caught high.
Heppel and Fantasia both started in the centre square at the start of the third quarter.
Quick spread, Billings out wide. Short pass looking for Marshall, who's really making Bill Chambers work. Gave it to Loney, pops it back towards Membry. Just overcooked it. Hurley got there first. Blasts it away, hoping someone was there. Shiel was there, knocked it down. Bagley, Shiel, Zaharakis. Bill Chambers not your run and carry kind of guy. And he gave away a free kick to Webster.
It just looks like that Essendon are going to try and flick this ball around a bit, Roosie. Try and by hand, just try and demand that their teammates run.
Loney gave it to Stephen. Central spot, Francis up early, good hands.
And I've liked the two defenders. Hurley come off his man, Francis come off his man. So defensively, good signs. It's now about how they bring the ball. This part of the game's been really difficult for them getting it out of defence.
Yeah, and that's St Kilda as much to do with them, I think, as Essendon.
McKenna out wide, but Donald Tipperwoody, kind of the tail of his day. He was trying to make it work. Still, it rolled out of play and will get a ball in.
What was that? We just need to see it again.
No, he just completely missed it.
Just looked like he's horribly out of touch.
Yeah.
Bill Chambers and Marshall again. Marshall works his way to the front. Bill Chambers tries to get rid of him. Jack Stephen front. Stringer. Well, he thought he had got rid of him. He gets it and blasts it. Webster might be third man in here. He lets it bounce. Turns inside. McKernan. Webster. Savage. Fake the handball. Waits. Billings. Provides an outlet for it.
They push back. The St Kilda defenders push back harder to support than the Essendon forwards did to get there.
And that has been the tale of the afternoon so far. Ross trying to take on Stringer. Bad man to take on. Stringer from 50. He blasts it across the face. McDonald, Tipperwoody to make amends. No mark. Battle did well. Held his ground. Kick not so good, but it might still work. Steele turns out on Heppel, who let him get away outside, and Marshall takes the mark.
At least Jake Stringer's trying to do something. I mean, we can be critical of him at times and he can make a blue, but he's the one that looks most likely at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Bruce stalks it. Francis over the top of him. McKenna. Well, again, Fantasia and McGrath not on the same page, and Bruce weaves his way through traffic with some magic. Gresham looks up. A little shake and bake on Francis from the pocket. Goes toward Loney. Thumped from front on. No free kick. Well played, Sard. Got away with it. Got a lot of Sharon and no arm. Couple of shimmy steps from him and he hits Bagley lace out.
Yeah, big moment from Sard. Big moment, because that was a great kick from Gresham.
Missed opportunity too, you'd have to think. Loney'd love his chance again there.
Bagley down the line. McKernan there. Brown is there. Brown half held. So free kick to Brown of the Bombers.
He goes quick. He's got Bell Chambers one out.
And big Bell Chambers is stalking it. He's up. Not quite. Marshall did well. Just flicked it away last second. And there's the help. Savage got there to lend a hand.
Second time, Dwayno, that Savage has got back harder and quicker than the Essendon small forwards. And that has to be addressed. I mean, you bring the ball, you're not going to mark everything. You've got to bring the ball to ground. You've got to push back harder and be first there, or at least contest.
Told to go now, Nunes. Jack Stephen took some time off.
So that's Bagley, that's Fantasia, and that's McDonald, Tipperwoody, if you want to name names. Those three boys have got to get back harder.
Heads out wide, Jack Stephen. See if he can run this game out. He looked a little spent last week on limited preparation. Jack Stephen for the mental health break that he had. See if he can run this one out. Heppel floats it back. Savage will be paid the mark.
Hold there.
Inside to Steele. Short to Geary. Cut off by Shiel. Looks up. McDonald, Tipperwoody in battle are there. Savage, third man in, and he takes the grab.
Another example, this time in the air, Gaz. So another St Kilda player, Savage again, pushing back quicker than his opponent. So they're just creating the outnumber for St Kilda. Essendon can't even the numbers up in their forward 50, which makes it really hard to score.
Hurley got there first, flicked away by Bruce. Really had to motor to try and get a fist on it and knocked it away. Every little thing counts at the moment. Jack Stephen feeds it back. Battle. Bombers trying to wrestle back the momentum here. A floater towards the outer side. Marshall tried to thump it to the boundary. Hurley got it up to Sard. Had to backtrack out of trouble. Did brilliantly. Got it up to Myers. Little 1-2. Shiel to set it up. He finds some space where there was none. Had a bounce. Heads to the top of the square. Turns it over. Akers.
It's just terrible. Not enough care. They're really exciting right up until the last play.
Good grab, Langford. Loney went the mark, not the punch. Heads wide. Devon Smith, great fist away though by Akers this time, and he got it over the boundary.
If you keep going in and you keep coming back out, you've got to question your footy intelligence of your small forwards. Start somewhere else. Start differently if you keep losing that inside 50 footy.
Marshall slaps it to the front. McKernan tried to keep it alive.
It's interesting, guys. When you're out of form, there's the connection things, the synergy between players, the ball movement just seems really stilted, doesn't it? And that's what we say. The effort here for Essendon in the third quarter has been terrific. So no complaints about that.
And the flick down. Bagley tried to get away. Heppel gets his moment. It's bending back. Captain's goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Captain's goal. And we said that just then. The effort's been good. It's just a little bit of the synergy. You're not going to just flick the switch and get back into form. But this is good from Heppel. Off the back of the stoppage, we saw a similar one. Gresham kicked a goal on him earlier on. And he just sat back nicely. And they've got a goal out of some really good effort in this third quarter. So John Worsfold will be a lot happier sitting in the coach's box at the moment.
Well, the bottom line is they've kicked 4 of the last 5 goals.
Yep.
That's a trend there, and from an Essendon point of view, it's what you hang your hat on. They're going inside 50. It was ugly. They kept getting beaten back to the ball in this third quarter, but they've stuck at it. 4 of the last 5 rewarding signs now from a St Kilda point of view.
Yeah, 6-3 inside 50s this quarter, so good signs.
Bill Chambers with the palm down, just missed Langford. Gresham bends it around, but doesn't bend it much. Marshall thumps it on, could have gone the grab. Zaharakis wrapped up, pushed a little in the back, got away with it. Sinclair, and gets himself a stab for his trouble. Dunstan gave it up. Akers can't get through the tackle, gone. Had Pryor, he lifted the arms up.
Better signs here, Dwayno, better signs.
So if you joined us late, they were 33 points down, the Bombers. They're 16 down now, and coming hard. Ambrose. Everybody takes a breath. It's been hot from the outset out there. McKernan got a couple of beat here. Steele crumbs it. Gets away from Fantasia. Big fly Parker. Landed like a cat. Goes back, gets it. Sizes it up from 45. Kick smothered though by Guelphy. Rolls out of play.
So they're losing footy on the outside, uncontested possession, but they've turned the contested footy around. Albeit by a smaller margin at the moment, the Bombers, but they lowered their colours in that area in the first half. So there's a more hardness at the footy at the moment.
Bruce does the ruck work with Bill Chambers. Flip to the back. Steele got it up just in time to Gresham. Kept it in, tucked into the pocket. Parker needs to think his way through it. Tries to turn inside, dragged down. Kind of had possession, kind of didn't. Guelphy caught. He's in some trouble. Shield through traffic. He threw it away. Ball. Play on. Membry took the chance. Drills it.
That's a real big moment in the game because the momentum had been going the other way. I'd like to see it again. Shield continues to argue his case. Most footballers do when they've given up a free kick that results in a goal. His work to get back was really good, Dylan Shiel. Yeah. He did what the Saints defenders were doing really hard, and as a midfielder, the push back in support so important. But just forward line pressure again. We spoke about it at half-time, Ruzi.
Yeah, here it is. One tackle there. Josh Bruce, a big, tall forward. Then it is taking them on. Yeah, that's a free kick, I would have thought.
And it was a good effort, wasn't it, to get that other hand?
Yep, definitely. But I'm liking better what I see with the Saints. So this is a more even contest, Wayne, okay? So now we've got two teams playing pretty reasonable football. Going to be a good, hopefully good second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Ton of time left. Anybody's game. Couple of momentum swings. Momentum back with the Saints. Lead still with the Saints. Parrish gets it back. Heads wide. Under it, Wilkie couldn't mark it. Ball spills. Fantasia. He turns inside. 60 out. Gave it up to Merritt. Here's Merritt's moment. He looks a little wide off the boot, and Brown content to see it through.
Jeez, they just look a different team when Fantasia gets hold of the ball.
Bruce and Membry. Ball thumped clear by Ambrose. Got it down to Stringer. Through traffic, went back out to Fantasia. Still a chance for Stringer. He was outside. Webster cut it off. Floats it to Saad. Touch play on. He dance-stepped through a couple. Did brilliantly. Hits a really good spot. Brown! No mark. Offhand. Savage got it up just in time to the Saints. Brown. He goes to Ross. Can't mark it. Hot in the kitchen right now. Ball out. Chance for Merritt, feeds the handball out, Akers barreled, picked up by Guelphy, got it to Merritt, shoots it back to McGrath, gets it back to Guelphy, 50 out, he sprays it.
He had Stringer on his own. Just, that's a player that handles a bit of pressure differently. I mean, those guys with vision and composure and time would have just dropped that in the hole, but still, they're getting it back inside 50.
Yep, good signs from the Bombers, good game now.
Battle heads long. Bruce up early. Francis was with him. Bill Chambers has claimed the mark. And then he was grabbed. McKernan lurking at the top of the square. It's wider. Stringer's on the move. One-hander. And this one-man wrecking ball is threatening to steal this away from the Saints single-handedly.
I'll get your thoughts on this, Ruzi, as a former coach. He's a fine line because he got the footy earlier and he didn't give an instinctive handball out. He's still got this mentality, I'm going to do it myself. Yet you want him to have that mentality because he can do it himself.
Yeah, look, his quarter, this quarter's been really good. We've seen some good... And I reckon he has just said, I'll take it upon myself. Not in a selfish way, though, Gaz.
In he struts, and it is a strut. Did he do that deliberately? Put it to the top of the square. McKernan was a chance. Fantasia around the body. Behind.
He could be slightly cooked. He's spending a lot of tickets, Jake.
Yeah, he is.
But there's no excuse. You can't.
Ball back towards Hurley. Open space ahead. Gathers. And he just barrels it, hoping for something crazy. The chaos ball. Stringer. He couldn't trap it. Savage through legs. Smith feeds it back out. Zaharakis, he attacked it, but he's attacked. Ball falls to McKenzie. Toe pokes it away. Devon Smith around the body. Goal line. Last line of defence.
Shane Savage had 6 possessions this quarter. I reckon 4 of those have been ground balls, going back and crumbing the ball.
Billings wide. Bruce's target. Hurley, Bruce, been a good battle. Bruce does well, but Hurley does as well to wrap him up. He got the handball up just in time to steal. Good dance step. Gave him the Elvis hips. Got a kick away. Nunes turns inside. He's got the runner. Dunstan. Ross. No one comes at him. Runs to 50. Spanks it long. Goal line. Francis.
He's taking some intercept marks, Aaron Francis. The super talented footballer.
Sits it on Parrish's head. Set up there too long. Membry knocked it down to Steele. He goes inside to Ross. Not the required. Jack Stephen. Handball was the umpire's call. I'm not sure the Bomber fans agree. Ball up.
Boys, Jake Stringer coming from the ground appears to be a right ankle concern. That was behind the play, and he's limped the whole way to the bench.
Well, he had that foot injury last week, the moon boot situation last week, but we were told he was 100%. Myers around the body. Brown and Brown. Kept in the area for a ball up.
12 inside 50s to 5 for the quarter in favour of the Bombers. Yeah, it's only a goal apiece.
Yeah, it's just still hard work forward to centre, isn't it? There's nothing smooth there, but they're starting to halve and win some 50-50 contests now, the Bombers.
Nice ruck win from Wilkie. Akers slipped but got it away. Billings a floater. Big ball to win here. Membry attacked it. 3 Bombers around him. Akers towed it away, got it to Sinclair, to Geary. He hits a good spot, top of the square. Hurley! Great hands.
He's been terrific, Hurley. That's been a really, really good contest. He's been brave, Hurley. Could have really turned it up because early on, Bruce had kicked a couple of goals, looked good, but I really loved Hurley's game, Gaz. Good response from him.
To Bellchambers, 3 around him. Free kick, a hold. Essendon free. Smith's allowed to play on to advantage. There's no stringer. He's got to go Dyson Heppel. Dyson gets back. He's beaten by Geary. Unbelievable grab back with the run of it. Savage goes wide and they're out here. Open side.
Once again, that kick inside 50, that lack of connection.
13 inside 50s.
Yeah.
And they've kicked 1 goal. And I get back to a starting position. They're still trying to kick and run with the flight. How many times have you seen an Essendon forward come up
the ball
and mark the ball coming up at it?
Jake Stringer gone down into the rooms for further assessment.
Francis again holds solid and he has hurt himself. Kent got him.
Well, he's been terrific too. They're both the key posts. But right now, change your starting position. There's not an Essendon player inside forward 50 at all right now. And the ball's on centre wing, essentially. Someone go to the goal square and mix it up.
Zaharakis is out on a half-back flank. Ball sat in the air a long time, but he had to wait for it. Saar, you know he wants to go. And he does go. Gets the 1-2 with Ambrose, but he ran into a roadblock. High.
Josh
Take
Bruce.
that, Bruce, though, wouldn't you?
Bruce, Membry, Loney, their forward pressure's been outstanding. And he knew that was coming. You both called it. And he set himself up for it. And he's made him look silly because I thought it was his free kick.
Yeah, Bruce would take that. He holds him up. McGrath, short to Ambrose. Feeds it wide to Myers. He's got Langford up against the boundary. Took a half netball step, not the play on call. Now he's told to go.
You can see down the ground, there's no one anywhere near the goal square. Why doesn't Tom Bellchambers push back deep?
Heppel, good crump, gave it to Zaharakis, almost within range. Look for Bellchambers. Newnes got in the hole, put his body on the line. Not a great kick, but it didn't look deliberate. It looked like a bad kick.
Yeah, it's just a bad kick. I mean, the good thing for Essendon, another poor decision, but the good thing for Essendon is plus 10 contested possession this quarter. So if they can get that connection right, that's the key to the game at the moment.
Gee, Webster did well. Gave it up to Jack Stephen. Gets under this. Akers has got a couple of men, including Francis, who got the early jump on him. Started the back. Little flick to Parrish. Caught, though. Got it up just in time to Myers. A wobbler. McDonald, Tip and Woody got there late. Crunched. Hit the deck. Billings a chance. Knocked away from him. Now a chance for Webster. He's caught, dispossessed. Heppel feeds it out. McGrath. He gave it up just in time to Parrish. Mark on the goal line. Bellchambers. Just in time.
Guess where he was, Dwayne?
Goal line.
In the goddamn goal square.
Yeah, and they thoroughly deserved it. But a good response after half-time. Really good response.
You can see Bellchambers in the front of the screen. As that ball was being played, he went back to the goal square. So he came back to give him... And then you've got an option. You can take that mark, or if it drops short, you've got space to go into. If you stay constantly 35 metres from goal, then you're limiting yourself so much, and it hasn't worked for Essendon today. It's been obvious.
And this without Jake Stringer, who...
His foot stood on his... Yeah, it's on the side of his ankle, wasn't it?
So from 33 points down to 14 points down. 6 minutes left in the third. Have the Saints got the belief to hold solid here? Gresham, he bends it around the body. Good trap. Heppel, after Parrish's handball, goes back and gets it, but he turns it over to Kent. He looks up. Options are plenty here. Little bump on Newnes. Pushed him into it, but he misses.
If I'm an Essendon supporter, I'm saying, where was this in the first half? I mean, this is a sort of sense of desperation that you would have thought would have showed itself in the first 3 minutes of the game.
Sard wide, Brown under it, dumped away from McKernan, but Parrish was in the right spot, front and square. Pokes it back to the midfield. Good delivery, although a couple of double grabs from Shiel. Did well. Chips it over the top, Merritt. They are on the march here, the Bombers. The police back. Fantasia, one grab, not the second. McKenzie picked his pocket. Gave it to Gresham. Can the Saints get one on the overlap? Akers is long. Francis gets back. Did brilliantly. Got a hand on it. Took the body contact. Then sped it before he'd earned it. Chance for Jack Stephen. Sark got there first. He floats it wide. Welfie.
Great effort, Francis, but you just saw why Blake Akers can't lock down a regular senior spot. He just had to stand up and body strongly, hold his position, and would have got it over the back.
Heppel wide. Fantasia tried to get McKenzie under the ball so he could get and go. They are spent. 4.5 minutes left. High intensity, great contest.
And Fantasia dropped the mark before, but he came at the footy because he started deep and was able to present as a target coming up.
Marshall, Bill Chambers, who's lifted. Little flick down to Merritt, who's lifted. Devon Smith, Heppel's lifted. Ball around the body from his boot. Ross waits under it. Collects it, but gives it away. McGrath. Parrish. Hits a good spot with this. Brown's on the move, and he's got it 50 out.
I mean, look at the key movers you've touched on, but Sard's been a lot better off half-back. He's had 10. Heppel's got involved in the game. Had 8 and a goal this quarter. Parrish, the young kid, he's been terrific. Yeah. 7. Zach Merritt, 7. Hurley's been good. So there's no mystery as to why they've got back in the game. And around the footy, they've been so much better.
From the paint, struck it pretty well. Bomber fans go up, they like it. From 33 down to 9 down.
And in the first part of this, they've been inside, I think, 14 times for a goal, and they were going the same way every time. The last 3 inside 50s. Look at the movement from Brown on this occasion. Not going back with the ball, but coming up at the ball. And you saw Belchambers got a mark because he stayed deep. And you saw Fantasia as a leading target he dropped the footy, but shouldn't have. So they've started to work that out a bit better from an Essendon point of view. And now you've got the option. You should have a target coming at you every time, and you should have a long target if you don't want to pick that up.
Well, the Saints have reacted. They've got Seb Ross on the wing, on the near side against Dyson Heppel, but he's gone right to the back edge, so he wants to come in as an extra defender once this ball is bounced.
A great pick-up. It's just out of screen to the right of Dyson Heppel.
Bill Chambers, clever flick, got it to Shiel away.
But it leaves him, Heppel, on his own.
Heppel gave it up on cue. Langford, Merritt, outside of the boot. McDonald, Woody, good attack, good collect. Goes to ground, feeds it back out. McKernan, he's got Brown on the outside. Marshall kicks smothered. Ricochets to Bill Chambers. Back to Brown, back to Shiel. Dances one way, onto the left, goes long. Wow, that would have been huge.
Well, contested possession 43 to 29. That's plus 14 and a quarter. That's huge.
And they were down in the first half, Rosie. They lost the contested possession count by, albeit there's only 3, but they lost it.
Yep. The result 19-8 inside 50s.
Big leap from Membry. Billings crumbs it. Jack Stephen dangerous. But fortune might favour the Brave here. 3 minutes left. Steele takes the mark. Will they take off? He goes back out to Billings.
Good news for the Bombers. Jake Stringer back to the bench. Looks like he's ready to take his spot.
Stephen gets low.
It's a good test for St Kilda too. They've been so good in this first half and have just lost control of the game in the last 12 to 15 minutes.
Heads to Membry through his hands. Bruce a chance. Little knock on from Kent didn't work. McKenna turns outside. Had a bounce. Flicked it to Smith. Wants it back again, McKenna. He was outside the boundary for a second. Kept it up to Heppel. Bumped on the kick. McDonald, Woody. He's in half forward. Dumped away. Shiel stalking it. Can he keep it in? He can't.
See, Heppel had Shiel just inside him. Could have given him a handball. And would open it right. Well done from McKenna. Took them on. Good little handball over the top. And smart from Smith here. Really smart to give him a little bit of a balloon ball over the top.
Back into play. Free kicks. Saints ball. Marshall to take it.
So they came here as a sort of hunter because the expectation was the Bombers would bounce back. Right now they're being hunted, the Saints.
Hurley up. Gee, wanted to crunch that out of play. Could almost have marked it.
And the last 2 times the ball's come forward in front of us, right here on centre wing, for the first time today, St Kilda got past the ball. So they weren't staying there and waiting for the decision and trying to be front and square. They're getting ahead of it, and they've just got to stay at the contest.
Back into play. Bill Chambers, Marshall being a good battle. Sinclair to Steele. Bangs it around the body, hoping for Parker. Couldn't get him. Sinclair crumbed it again. Sends it long. Ambrose is under it. Membry's under it. Not a lot of knuckles on it. Kent bumped on the kick behind.
Again, just little critical contests. Kent first half would have run into an open goal then. Second half, great tackle by the Essendon player. Desperation.
1:30 left. Love to get one now, but certainly don't want to concede one now. Hurley holds it up. Seconds tick down. Heads wide. Bill Chambers edged out of it legally. McKernan crumbs it. Gave it to Merritt. Caught. Heppel a chance. Towed away. Sinclair pulls the kick. Got it to Parker. And this is kickable by his standards.
It's a great kick because Parker had no intention of leading until the kick came.
She put that into a good spot for Kent as well.
Geez, Kent kicked a critical goal last week too.
Did he what?
On the opposite side of the ground. But this is pretty critical because with all the work that's been done by the Bombers, Kent kicks this goal, puts them, what's that put them, 15 points up, and you sort of go into the Bombers and you think, gee, we worked so hard and we haven't got that much reward for our effort.
5 games for Melbourne last year, Dean Kent. 63 games for Melbourne for his career there. Second game for the Saints. Seconds tick down to three-quarter time. He gets the boos. A couple of skip steps. It's across the face a little. It's across the face too much.
Well, that's all was happening. Jake Stringer's ambled back on to the ground for the Bombers and gone deepest forward.
McKenna short. Dangerous. Memory got there with a fist. Seconds keep rolling. Ball funnels out. Nunes gets a chance. Shiel knocked him away. Feeds it out wider to Hurley. They dodge a bullet. 10 seconds left. Savage. No 50, so the time might elapse before it can find a chest. 60 plays 50. Do not go anywhere.
I wouldn't be leaving the seat right now, Dwayne. It's set up beautifully for a huge last quarter.
Saints were 33 points up, but they're holding back the tide with a broom. 10 points up at the last change in an epic.
Quarter. Really, really good game of footy then. So hopefully that continues in the last quarter. We've got 2 teams now that are desperate to win, 2 teams that are attacking the ball and just about taking your chances now.
So it all comes down to this. 1 quarter of footy. Bill Chambers and Marshall go at it. Ball flick down a Stringer. Starts in the middle. Caught though. Ball pin.
So Gresham again started in that centre square. So more and more time in the middle, looking more and more comfortable. Steele stays with Shiel.
Zaharakis nearly had it. McKenna had it. Dispossessed. Heppel on hands and knees. Stringer bangs it forward. Bouncing ball, that chaos ball again. Out the back. Orazio misses.
He just didn't quite sum it up. He could have run him with his speed then. He didn't realise, though, to be fair to him, that his opponent sort of stumbled.
Lack of confidence.
Yeah.
When he's flying,
he runs in.
He runs and kicks it from a metre out.
Webster pumps toward the wing. Bruce is out there from 3 deep. Got a knuckle on it. Knocked it out.
So again, he gets his footy under his arm, Orazio Fantasia, and goes. But he's just down on touch, down on confidence. Went too early, knew straight away. But he's dangerous.
Bill Chambers from behind. Second whack at it. Stringer wreaking havoc again. Shiel blasts it long. McKernan's got a couple to beat. Brown at the back. 1 grab 2.
But again, the starting position for McKernan was right where the ball went. Now, had he started from the square, he gets a run and jump at that, and that is when he's a dangerous proposition.
Sits out there for Francis. Used his body nicely. Got a big thump on the ball. Smith, Geary, Wilkie. Parker got it up to Ross. Little floater out wide. Parker gets it back and runs. He's got the Jets. Backs himself in. Sends it long. Jack Stephen in the hole. Just thumped clear by Sana. And a brilliant thump at that. Got it all the way to Merritt. Bang! McGrath ran into a brick wall and he's down. Hits the deck. Shiel off the deck. Kicks it to half forward. Smith back inside. Merritt looks up. Over the back, Langford. Can he get there? Rolling ball. Battle trying to shut him down. Rolling ball. Turns inside. Missed his target, Brown. Battle tries to slap it out. Brown kept it in. Knocked out by Wilkie. Ball in.
Gee, it was just a horrible handball to McGrath, wasn't it?
They ain't getting a Christmas.
Nah, just a horrible handball.
Yeah, you should have seen. Like, sometimes it's the bloke up calling for the footy, I blame. But in that instance, look at that. Zach, he saw all of that in front of him.
Just a horrible handball.
Intensity up again. Flick to the back. Stringer. Through traffic. No way. He's a freak show. And right now, he's threatening to steal this from the Saints single-handedly. And they might have to stop play here. If that's a head injury, they need to stop play, surely.
I think it's ribs, Bueno.
Okay.
I think he was able to sort of...
got up and went back down.
Got up, went back down. My concern, we don't know. Yeah, there's no head in that. So that's a good thing, but just a broken rib scenario.
So it's 17 on 18 at the moment. So that doesn't help the Bombers. Parker did well, gave it to Ross. And he takes off, uses the jets. Zaharakis tries to shut him down. He goes long to the pocket. Stephen, rolling ball. Sard, Stephen, bouncer. And rolls out.
Well, Jack Stephen is running, jogging off the ground now. It's a good sign for Andy McGrath, and Dell will be all over that. Jack Stevens is looming as someone they're going to play inside 50 here. He's a bit underdone. We know he missed some footy, but he's a dangerous proposition inside 50.
Yeah, four-time best and fairest Jack Stephen. He's got a deep bag of tricks. See if we can get on the end of it here. Flicked out in this direction. Steele caught. Zard wrapped him up. Ball back or thrown almost. Crowd saw the throw, but it's a ball in.
Well, you would assume that it is something relating to his ribs. That's McGrath from that incident. Didn't look like there was any head from ground level, but he is short of breath at the moment, so just in the hands of the doctors.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dale. I don't think it was any knock to the head. I think it's definitely ribs.
Shiel lays the tackle, no prior, ball up.
Billings dangerous at this stoppage. I mean, just starting off the back and taking off and running right through at pace. So he's having a bit of a gamble and a bit of a risk, but he's dangerous.
Tried to get onto it. Smith got there first. Here he is on cue, Billings. High tackle. He is dangerous.
They've done it a couple of times. They did identify it. They tried to stop his run. But I like it. I like you get on the move, be proactive. They'd certainly had some coverage for him from a wing point of view so that he wasn't totally exposed.
64-88 is goal kicking for his career. 64-88. 34% at goal the last two seasons. Tucked into the pocket. Across the face, Bellchambers.
Well, Bellchambers' direct opponent is Marshall, who's limping severely behind the football. He has a right shin guard on. You'd assume that for the ruck contest, but he is hobbling at the moment. And he's trying to come off right now.
Thanks, Dal.
Gee, Kyle, this is the second time he's run off the ground. First time he wouldn't stand the mark. Second time he's got a free kick and he's heading off the ground.
He's got the footy, Brucey. You don't run off there.
You don't run off there.
Hurley to McKenna. Guelphy. Heads out wide to Smith. Brown's with him. Little flick by Brown. Knocked it down in the Billings and the boundary line direction, and it rolls out.
That LED sign is going to come into use finally. It's going to have Kyle
on the ground.
8-point game. So Wilkie in the ruck now. Marshall off. Bellchambers. Wilkie. Zaharakis got his arms free. Flicked it to Bellchambers. Gresham, little flick on away from him. Got it inside to Ross. Nice delivery. Billings out wide. Kent gets a chance. Heads long. Membry one-on-one. Ambrose. Membry. Ambrose knocked it down. Got it to the boundary. Nice work. Gets a hug for his trouble.
They're just so much better in the contest, aren't they? Every contest, the first sort of 40 minutes was just being won convincing by the Saints. Now it's going into a contest, and Essendon's ability to halve it or win it has been terrific.
Bruce out of nowhere, goal square, come through.
Stride up a little bit. Just a single goal for St Kilda since half-time. Absolutely outstanding in that first half, but finding it very hard right now. Francis and Hurley starting to mark the footy.
Merritt. Savage stands under it. Heppel there. Ball flick to the back. Wilkie gets there. Goes inside. Yes, a dangerous kick, but it's probably going to come off. Saints have the numbers. McKenzie. He was wrapped up, though. Fantasia did brilliantly. Akers got his arms free. Webster. Savage. They're still taking it on the Saints. Out wide, rolling ball. Big ball to win. Sinclair just sees it elude him. John Worsfold, Alan Richardson. Season-defining game, perhaps. Bombers don't want to start 0-2. The Vultures will circle then. And Alan Richardson could start 2-0. Not what most expected. Merritt. He keeps that alive. Just inside the line. Geary got there. Out of play, we'll get a ball in. Fantastic to have your company wherever you've been watching. 9-point game after it was a 33-point margin. Akers sends the Saints back inside 50. Tough one. Bruce over the shoulder. Free kick.
He needed to win, Josh Bruce. They just hadn't been able to even have a contest. Hurley's been really good, and Francis, but just was able to stand his ground, and there's a free kick, no question about it. Left arm goes over the shoulder, and this is the part he's got to get right. I mean, in a low-scoring game, they've kicked only one goal since half-time. To open this up to a 15-point margin would make it really difficult for the Bombers.
Only 3 games last year. Lower back injury, broken leg. Won the Saints goal kicking back in 2015 with 50. Gee, that was never a chance.
Well, tentative. So it's just tightening up.
Yeah.
It is tightening up for the Saints.
It's been a great contest, that one, Bruce Hurley.
And here's Hurley. McKernan's his target. Brown's up against him. Flick down. Heppel collected by Steele. A good wraparound tackle, no Pryor.
I don't know whether the Bombers can win if they keep going conservatively down the line. I know there's plenty of time left, but the first opportunity, they've got to take the game on.
Guelphy outside of the boot. Might take it on accidentally. Got it inside the corridor. Savage somehow through traffic. Gresham opens it up. Blaster to a good spot. Getting back. Langford. Delightful grab under pressure.
I think the problem is, Gaz, they haven't been able to go coast to coast all day, have they? So they're really going to have to win stoppages to score by the look of it, because Saints' defensive mechanisms in this area of the ground has been really, really good.
Yeah, spot on. They've been structured up so well.
You're spot on, Roosy. The Bombers continue to take one of their half-forwards up to the stoppage, which allows the Saints to have a spare behind the football, which makes it really difficult to move the footy through freely.
So I wonder, Dal, whether they're going to start to bite off a little bit, you know, try and take it on through the middle. I know that they've been set up beautifully, and as this game wears on deep into the fourth quarter, there will be a hole. It'll present itself. It's just whether they're brave enough to take it.
Well, often when you have an extra at the stoppage, you want to release by hand. You want to work through the opposition because you've got the outnumber.
I think you're right there. I think the question for me is, will John Worsfold say, no, we want 6 forwards now away from the stoppage? Because you're absolutely right. It's the moment it's Savage back there sitting by himself.
And
so,
it's been great.
Yep, and they're 10 points down. So at some point you have to change what you're doing. And I think that's the structural change I would make. Get that forward out of the stoppage, make it 6-6-6 and back your midfielders.
Fly from Bruce, couldn't mark it, hits the deck. Marshall flicks it back out. Sinclair did well in traffic. Tough ball to mark. 5 players around it. Big flick by Guelphy. Dangerous spot to be flicking it, though. Huge moment for Gresham. Tried to break through. Got it just in time to Parker. 2 Akers. Stand start. Post.
Hit the post. It's just moments, Dwayno, isn't it, at the moment? It's just knife-edge stuff. What is it now, 11 points?
Every possession almost worth double now what it was worth in the opening quarter. Savage stalks it, got there, and he takes off, runs inside 50, dragged down on the kick, got it to the top of the square. Amazing grab in the end by Sinclair. He was using his body, hoping it wouldn't sail over his head, but he had the grasp.
Well, if I'm taking a storyline out of this, and this has got the potential to be a huge result for both sides, it is Sinclair, Loney and Gresham for mine. It looked like they were destined to be three small forwards that may not be able to do too much else. They've all shown that they are much more than that today.
And a win here for the Saints could be more than just defining for the club. It could be defining for some of these players.
And this is why, when you're doing your craft session, Gaz, all your mids have got to do marking craft as well. So even though if you're not a natural marking player, let's have a look at these two incidents here. So ball in the air, it's a bit harder for Shields. He couldn't really get there. But watch this. Zaharakis has got better position on Savage. But no craft and
Sinclair.
Sorry, Sinclair just as he... Now, if you're doing craft, you're marking craft, Zaharakis holds his ground there and is able to just hold his ground, work his way back on the ball, but Sinclair's craft in that situation is way better than Zaharakis, and it's a key moment in the game.
It's a 3-goal game again. Bill Chambers knocks it down. Little flick out in the News direction. Bumped off it. Parrish. Not 15. Jack Stephen goes and gets it anyway. Bumped out of it. Bill Chambers flicked it back. Missed his target. Parker through traffic. Got his arms free. Go over to Dunstan. Almost ball. Hamill missed the target. Spanked on by Myers. Got it to Stringer. Bumped on the mark attempt.
His attack on the foot, he's been first rate, Jakey Stringer, and it's won him plenty of footy. And I think won him respect too. Not that he hasn't had it, but sometimes it can be a little bit hit and miss for him. He's been absolutely single-minded in his approach to the ball today. Been a bit untidy in this aspect of it.
Yeah, but you're right, you can't question his commitment today.
No.
Crowd giving silence. They know how huge this is to make it a 2-kick game. In he struts to the near side.
Just looking at Savage's numbers, he's the player who we identified in that third quarter that kept getting back harder and winning that ball. Well, he's been enormous, and they've let him be enormous because of the way Dells has explained Essendon pushing a number up. And Ruzi, your call now to even numbers up, I think even more important.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Steele, front spot, tunnelled a bit. Membry. So they get away with it, and they are out here. Little paddle on from Sinclair was clever. He's got the runner alongside Gresham. He calls him on. How to bounce. He might go all the way home. Heads to the square. Rolls across the face a little. Opens up for Zaharakis, and he fumbled it through. Accidentally, deliberately. McGrath.
I wonder if Jack Sinclair could have worked that out a little bit better with Gresham.
I thought he could have gone there early, couldn't he?
Yeah, I thought too. I think Gresham thought so too.
Yeah.
Parrish.
But again, St Kilda making him go slow and down the line.
Yeah, they've been terrific. Their zones from the kick-ins have been terrific, St Kilda.
Wilkie edges them under the ball, and Brown content to see it out.
So we've had one of these paid today, and it was against...
I'm not sure that's a lot different to the one they paid, is it?
Who was it against?
Loney.
It's just disguised better.
Yeah.
Tension was the same. Ball back into play. Flicked down to Jack Stephen. Merritt got there first. Rolled in the tackle in the end by Steele, who did well. Didn't commit to the in the back. Ball up.
Some urgency about this now from an Essendon point of view. St Kilda have just answered. They've had some answers all afternoon. They've been terrific. 17 points now inside 10 minutes. Massive storyline developing here.
And how huge would this be for the Saints to start 2-0 with Fremantle next week? That would be amazing against the odds. Kent through traffic. Huge 9 minutes coming up for these two teams right now. 70 plays 53. 3-kick game. Ton of time left for anything to happen.
Storyline around both clubs were polar opposites. Essendon welcoming back players, and St Kilda were losing them hand over fist. This just wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely right. And the problem is when you're 33 points, I think the game high, Dwayne.
Oh, gee, what a time to give that away against Devon Smith.
That was right in front of me, Gaz. Nothing in that at all. They were both going at each other with half-hearted little knocks to the chest.
Yeah, it's a matter of which one you pay. Good attack from Bruce. They both hit each other. And the umpire just picked out the third or the fourth. Merritt looks inside. Dan stepped around a couple. Nice shimmy. Goes inside to Langford.
That's what they need. He's got to go now, Langford.
Yeah, he needed the handball, didn't he? Straight away.
So Merritt did the right thing.
Yeah.
He took it on and took the risk, and now Langford just stopped in the tracks.
McKenna dropped it, though. Back to Shiel, who mopped up his mess. Stringer's inside 50. He pulls it short to Brown.
And a set shot from here earlier and didn't make the distance.
Stringer's in the goal square. He pulls his kick. Lets Stringer run at it. They all go up. Stringer stays down in the end. Towed away. Ross, right spot, right time, but dragged down. No way of getting rid of it. Ball up.
Yeah, going into an outnumbered forward line most of the day has really hurt them, hasn't it? They haven't been able to even up that forward 50.
Kernan outreached by Marshall. Big Mark Heppel back with the flight.
You talk about some questions on leadership, and they've been under some pressure, and Dyson Heppel was singled out by his coach. That is the embodiment of a leader.
There it is.
There are moments, and whether they win this game or not, Ruzi, that moment there says, hey, follow me. I'll lead, whether we can get there, but I'll lead and the rest will follow.
I love him to kick the goal.
To make it a two-kick game. It's across the face. Has it stayed in play? It has, but Donald Tipperwoody couldn't quite get there. Webster does. Content to see it out.
And they really need a goal in the next sort of minute and a half to give themselves a chance, you would think. Well, they 17, three goals.
45,000 in here at Marvel today. Ball back into play. McKernan knocks it down. Shiel, wing tackle, got a kick away. Travels to Guelphy. Blasted to the top of the square. Brown's under it. Can't get near it. Wilkie, Brown. Brown to the Saints left it behind. Savage, little accidental toe poke. Ball out.
And if you're a leader now, you'd be grabbing McDonald, Tipperwoody and just say, listen, it hasn't been your day. You haven't had much, but it can still be your moment. And he's the one that's got a lift right now. He's barely touched the footy, barely had an impact.
Parrish. 5 goals in the VFL last week to work his way back into the team, and that's across the face.
And it might be a tackle, Gas, too.
Yeah.
We're not asking him to kick a freakish goal, but a defensive action or something like that. It's right up his alley. He's got the speed.
McKernan works his way to the front, tried to flick it at McDonald Tipperwoody. Steele had it, got it up just in time. Not 15, uses boot. McKenzie content to see that out.
Well, you touch on Tipperwoody, just the 6 disposals, 3 kicks, 3 handballs, and only 2 marks so far. Well, there was a perfect example in last year's grand final with Dom Sheed. There will be a moment.
We've ticked into time on. Final turn. McKernan again down. Devon Smith, little toe poke off the deck. Merritt, play on the call. Kick half smothered. Ricochets by Nunes. Got it up to Steele. Floats it back outside 50. Big ball to grab. Bruce got up. Couldn't bring it down. Heppel, nice crumb, but he couldn't keep it alive. Every Bomber fan on the edge of their seats, including that one.
It's good to see him back, isn't it?
It is indeed. A nice introduction back too. He'd have some fingernails, trying to be impartial as well.
McKernan palms it down, but straight to Nunes. Ricochets to Gresham. Dangerous handball. Merritt cuts it off. Gave it to McKenna. Nearly missed his shoe. Outside of the boot. Top of the square. Brown got there. Was it high or did he go to ground? Umpire said, roll on, boys. Nothing in it. And a ball up.
They're pressing. They've had field position. They've owned the forward half over the last 3, 4, 5 minutes. The Saints all afternoon have been able to answer the question. They're standing up fantastically well here.
Marshall's done brilliantly as well. Gets it outside to Kent. And Kent says, calm it down, boys.
Yeah, wait for some numbers to get ahead of the footy. It's been camped in their back half. Got to be composed here.
And time's becoming a factor now, isn't it? 5:40 to go. Starting to become a factor.
I need 3 goals in 5.5 minutes. Bruce caught behind, forced to spoil, reached an arm, Hurley. And that brilliant battle continues.
What can they do here? Can they find someone in the middle of the ground? Can they change direction and play on and try and get it down the other side of this forward 50?
Sits it up. Stringer can't get the run at it. Was hoping he to get to the back of the pack. A little flick on by Geary was good, but then he's caught. Roadblock. Knocks it out. Off hands. Jack Stephen just blasted forward, but the Bombers have the numbers. Getting back to Elfie. And they can open it up to Heppel here.
Didn't think that through Jack Stephen at all.
Heppel didn't like the one-on-ones that he had. Webster. Front on contact, marking contest.
He just didn't have enough working for him there. And Fantasia was 1v2, so Heppel was trying to create something, but there was nothing there really to create.
Back 2 metres.
Ross.
East-west. Play on.
Time ticking on the Bombers now. Wide ball. Membry, no, didn't go up in the end. Ball knocked down. Parker. Outside of the boot, tried to bend it back. It's across the face. Free kick.
Free kick
To Billings or against Billings?
Yeah, Brown's
Billings to Brown.
4 minutes left. Will he play on quickly? They look at the scoreboard. They see 23 gone.
Well, this is where the runner would be out telling him, Dwayno, they've got to get moving.
Or holding up a sign at least saying how many minutes left.
That there is, apart from a turnover, one of the worst results you can possibly have. We've given a stoppage just out forward 50, giving him time to get set up behind the footy. It's really lazy.
Bill Chambers, Marshall. Jack Stephen can't. Heppel got his arms free. Dispossessed. Ross. Shrug of the tackle. Loney. Heads to the square. Bruce dies. Puts it to grass. Big ball to win. Got it up. Outside of the boot. A roller. They could be home. Jake Gresham.
Yeah, I've loved the contest between Hurley and Bruce. They've both had really, really good games. And I know that sounds strange when one's a defender, one's a forward, but just their ability to compete against each other one-on-one's been terrific all day. It's been going backwards and forwards. Let's have a look at this one. Really good pressure from the Saints.
Look at Gresham right there. He's just inside.
Just outworked. Who's he outworked there? Heppel.
McKenna, I reckon.
McKenna, is it?
McKenna goes straight past. McKenna goes to the footy. Gresham kicks a goal. Oh, they're starting to celebrate in Moorabbin. I don't know what's down there, but it's starting to go off right now.
Yeah, good
43 points.
And that's that just work rate. I mean, we talked about it. Sometimes it's a really simple game. Which team works harder? And overall, Saints have just worked harder. 33 points down. It's very hard to come back because there's no margin for error.
John Worsfold under some pressure now. They need 4 goals in 3.5 minutes. Ball flicked down towards Zaharakis, but the attack has been relentless from the Saints.
And that's Loney. So you take your hat off to him. You've got Sinclair and Gresham are the 2 goal kickers this quarter, the only goals that have been scored. That was a footy that Zaharakis looked at and Sinclair said, well, you ain't getting it. And it's been endemic right through this group.
Puts it out wide. Bruce gathers, turns inside. Is there a knockout blow about to come? Steele goes back outside. Stephen almost the tackle on Merritt. Back inside to Smith. Short to Heppel. Edged out of it. Collect from Ross. Dispossessed. Fantasia. Merritt. But the seconds keep ticking. Merritt weaves his way through traffic. Saints have pushed the extra back. A pair of Browns and over the top McKernan. Big grab. No one's in the square. Runs to 55. Short to Bell Chambers and he fluffs it. Knocks it out to Parrish. He almost missed his shoe. Heppel under it. Dropping back. Webster holding. Free kick is going to Heppel.
Well, Heppel's got to get back and kick the goal quick. Don't take 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Get back and kick it quick. As soon as he blows time off, Dyson's got to kick the goal. He's got 2 minutes 20 on the clock.
Few of the Bomber fans have left. They've vacated the joint. There was 45,000 here. They might have to turn around. They need 3 goals in 2 minutes.
It's going to be a tough ask.
So what we're going to get now is a really good sight of the new 6-6-6 setup. In years gone by, with 2 minutes 11 on the clock, the margin is 17 points. They'd have 2 camped off the back of the square and probably 1 inside defensive 50. Can't happen right now. So Nunes started at the point of the square. We might get a shot of this. The runner's out there talking to Nunes at the moment. There's the free kick being paid, but if we can get a side-on shot of Jack Newnes on the wing, so he's going to go defensive. So he'll go straight across, which leaves Zaharakis out on the wing on his own. Have they got the presence of mind to use Zaharakis on the way?
I think Zaharakis just sits there. He can't run in. I think he's just got to sit there and just hope that his teammates can get it out.
And the next piece of that puzzle, Blake Acres coming from half forward, trying to get to Zaharakis in time.
Clearance is huge. Myers gets a chance, but he just fumbled at the last second. McDonald, Tippenwoody funneled it out. Langford gets it up to Smith. They get the clearance. Under it, Brown. Cut. He wrapped up Wilkie and he gave the free kick away, and that might do it.
Yeah.
So can they get an overlap now?
Take him out, Jimmy. Take him right out.
Wilkie has a wise head on his shoulders. He knows that he needs to do nothing crazy here. Heads out wide. Francis front spot. Smith. Langford got it back from Ambrose. Tough one. Billings half volley. Jack Stephen. They know now the Saints players. This has been a classic if they can get it done from here. McDonald, Tippenwoody goes to Stringer. Battle at the back. Knocked it down. Stringer tried to go off the deck. We thought about it, but it rolled out. 1:15 left in what has been a breathtaking performance from the Saints.
Yeah, it has, I know, and it's a huge story. It is massive. I don't think there are many that thought the Saints could back up apart from the diehards, and what I can tell you is the belief inside St Kilda was so strong, and it became really evident in that first quarter.
Geary slams it on the boot. Confidence level on the rise now for the Saints. 1 point win. They had to hold on, steal it from the Fire last week, come from behind. They were a point down with 10 minutes to go against the Gold Coast last week, and they got the job done. They came here against all odds. Essendon home game. 45,000 fans. Marvel Stadium. Most thought the Bombers had bounced back, and this has been an emphatic performance by the Saints. McGrath wide. McKernan up high. Newnes flicks it out towards the boundary. Brown kept it alive, but to Brown.
And look at it. Look at Billings, Gresham, Newnes, Ross.
Steele's been enormous.
He has Webster in the back half, but those first 5 names, along with Sinclair and Gresham, they're all the really super talented players that we knew they had St Kilda. Now they're really influencing results.
Little flick down Sinclair. McDonald, Tippenwoody the bump on the kick, but Newnes got it to the midfield. Open space ahead. McGrath collects it. 10 seconds left. Long bomb inside 50. Brown should cut it off. One grab, not the second. McKernan kicks it towards goal, and he gets himself a consolation prize.
Yeah, been terrific, the Saints. Flurry deserved the victory. Certainly the first 40 minutes, guys, they just smashed Essendon off the park, and that's when they opened up a 33-point lead. Yeah, the commitment, you talked about their younger players. Billings really coming of age, 28. Gresham's been outstanding, 26 and 2 goals. He's the game breaker, isn't he, really? Jack Steele, as I said, he's been mixing up Steele from going to Merritt, then going to Shields, and then back to Merritt, and he's been really, really good. So
they've been pummeled, this footy side. They've been belted over the pre-season for reasons, for the Hanbury trade and for lots of different things that have taken place. And the bottom line is, in about half a second, they're going to be 2 and zip.
Yep.
And they're taking a scalp that many had penciled in as a top 4, top 6 team along the way.
Massive for the players, massive for the coach, but huge for the fans. They've been downtrodden, disheartened. Celebrate, Saints fans. Undefeated, 2 from 2 to start 2019.
Look at that St Kilda fans there. It's been the leanest of years last year after some promise. If the draft went the way that they hoped they would have been contending last year, except it went dramatically the other way. And now to sit here and see the fruits of what I'm sure has been a really hard summer just start to pay off, they'd be absolutely over the moon. Essendon are another story, and they're going to get plenty of time. Don't worry, tonight, tomorrow, Monday, they're going to cop plenty, the Bombers, and got no one to blame for themselves. But right now, this is all about St Kilda.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a terrific effort. As you said, with the injuries going into the season, Carlisle out, Hanbury hasn't played. It's been fantastic. So as we go down to Nick Del Santo,
Well, Gears, 2 from 2, expectations, pressure coming into this game. What's the initial feeling?
Pretty happy this week, Dale, to be honest. 2 from 2 is great. We know we've got plenty to work on, but to get some reward for effort, we think we've been going in the right direction the last few weeks, and we know we've got to improve. But yeah, to get some reward for the system and the effort we put in over the pre-season is really good. Tell me about that effort and how you are judging the boys as captain of the footy club. Worked so hard in that first half, had a lot of the play, but just couldn't get the score on the board. What is your message when that is happening? Just don't get frustrated. I mean, our system, we think, stands up at the moment, so we've changed a little bit. We own ground position in the first half, and it can be frustrating, but they're not scoring, so don't get frustrated. Back our system in, and at the end of the day, if you do that for 4 quarters, you'll give yourself a chance to get a result. Do you still feel like you're learning about some of the players, some of the individuals, the way that they're playing the game and improving over the last couple of weeks? Man, I'm still learning stuff about myself. What have you learned about yourself, Giz? I did some ordinary things today, but the boys are doing a great. I mean, we've got some talent up forward. Josh Bruce's mark was, a fair mark, and Matty Parker's done some good things up front. But their pressure today up front was super, and that's what we ask of them. And if we keep going like that, we're going to challenge some teams, and we just want to keep improving, and we keep improving, back our system in, and we'll get some results. Really well said, Giz. All the very best. Well done. Thanks, Dale. Cheers.
17 points up they were at quarter time. They opened up a 33-point margin at one stage, the Saints, and the Bombers came at them and came at them hard, and this has been an amazing performance to hold strong in the face of it. And obviously you mentioned, Gary, the hit's going to come on the Bombers now.
Well, they felt it through the week, and they're going to feel it like at a whole nother level, and understandably so, because there was no response. There was no overt response anyway. It was a pretty passive first 10 minutes of like a sort of a feeling out period where you wanted manic pressure, where you wanted body on the line stuff. It came for a period in the third quarter, so it says they're capable. But now the heat goes back on this group in a massive, massive way, and the questions about leadership and all those sorts of things, they're not going to be fobbed away. They remain, Roosy, until you address them.
Yeah, 100% agree. But Nicky Dell wants to talk about the Saints, so let's get down to him now.
Well, JB, this whole time you've been playing the forlorn. You finally get your opportunity up the ground a little bit easier. It looks a little bit easier. Is that how it feels?
Yeah, I mean, just being around the ball a lot more, it's probably suits my game. And I actually didn't play much forward at all today. So, week to week just depends who you play and what Richo sort of wants. And, I'm just happy we won today.
Do you have a different mindset when you're up the ground a little bit more freedom to move and pick and choose when you go and when you don't?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the game's so fast, so you've got to make quick decisions and stuff like that. So it's up and back, and I really enjoy it, and I'm loving it.
You must be thrilled with the first 2 weeks. Last week you just scrap over the line, not the prettiest game. Yeah. Today you just asked me, did it look okay or was it a little bit scrappy? What was your take?
Yeah, it felt scrappy. I don't know what it would have looked like watching it, but yeah, like you said, it was just awesome to start off with 2 wins and really build some momentum. We've had a really good summer, and we've still got so much to work on, but each week we're just trying to improve and review each game, and it's been a great start, and we need to continue it.
A couple of weeks ago you get brought into the leadership group. What do you speak about this week? Is it based on effort? Is that all you talk about?
Yeah, against Essendon.
Against Essendon.
Yeah, we knew they were going to come out after last week, so it was all about matching them, especially in that first quarter, and it was pretty hot, the intensity was up, so the message was just match them in that area, and we're confident we could run it on top of them on the outside. So, like I said, I thought it was a bit scrappy at times, but at the end of the day, we won, so it's great.
You played very well. Congratulations on another good win.
Thanks, Dale. Cheers.
And the good thing I like about Jack Billings' move up onto the wing is it takes pressure off his goal kicking. And for a period of time there, his whole game seemed to be judged and measured on his ability to either kick goals, and then he was missing, his kicking was off and all that sort of stuff. So he was, in his own mind, he was probably becoming focused on, do I kick him or do I don't? Playing up on the wing, he's had 28, he's used the ball well, and his kicking efficiency was down actually, but I think he had a really good impact, positive impact on the game. He didn't have to worry about whether he kicked a goal or not.
Yeah, he's a talented young kid, isn't he? You're right. I mean, half forward, small forward is a hard role because you are judged on your goal kicking. 1 goal 3 is dramatically different to 3-1. He's had 28 disposals, Dwayne, and he's had a terrific game as we see the Saints go into the room.
Good to see Dan Hanbury there celebrating as hard as anyone else, who's also been under a lot of pressure.
There's a lot to like about the 2019 Saints. 2 from 2, an 11-point win over the Bombers.
Saints have marched to the top of the table.